All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Ladies Night. Me and Spencer here with another round of ladies. We'll do a round of intros here in a second, and we should have maybe a couple of latecomers, maybe one or two as well. A nice little surprise if you guys like returning guests, as long as she does show up. So really quickly, the chat is for members only. As you guys can see, it only costs $99 a month to be a channel member. Really helps us out. We don't need the money, but it helps get the videos out there. It helps get, helps us in the algorithms and helps more eyeballs get on what we're trying to do here. If you guys submit any super chats tonight, anything $20 and up, we will read right away. Anything below that we'll hold to the end of the show. So without further ado, let's get into the intros. Erin, let's start with you as a returning guest. It's been a little while, but remind us name, age, where you're from, what you do, current relationship status, and we'll start from there.
Okay. My name is Erin McKinnon. I'm 35 years old. I live in Utah. I work at a spa as an esthetician, and I have a boyfriend.
Okay. Awesome. Let's go to Ileana next.
Yes, I am 32 years old. I live in California, currently engaged. I am a stay-at-home parent, and I go to school.
Okay. Stay-at-home mom. Hannah F.
Hi, my name is Hannah Fudge. I'm from Toronto, Canada, and I'm 34 years old, and I'm single. I'm a chartered professional accountant, and I work for a public accounting firm, and I'm also a Fuck Trudeau influencer. So I do rock shows and street performances.
That's really what the F stands for.
Yeah, Hannah F. Trudeau.
Exactly. And you can find me on the YouTube channel Film Mission.
Cool. And I don't know what I handed to Hannah number 2. What should we say for you?
Call me Hannah Squared.
Hannah Squared. Okay, cool. Done.
All right. My name is Hannah. I'm 22 years old. I am currently in a relationship, and I work at an elementary school as a teacher.
Okay. Awesome. So we got a couple cool things to kick off with. We asked the ladies before the show about some of their more interesting or controversial opinions on dating. So why not start with an old classic, which Erin brought up, where Erin believes that women can have male friends. Now, Erin, let's back up a little bit, because you were on a while back on the first iteration of Ladies Night. At the time, let me see how good my memory is. You were in a long-term relationship, 7-10 years, something like that. I think this was a kind of guy that would disappear for a couple days at a time and you wouldn't hear from him. And he also was not going to give you kids, which is something you really wanted. So why don't you, for the people at home, why don't you walk us through kind of the end of that relationship, and then walk us through how you kind of stumbled across this new one?
Oh, that's a loaded question. All right. Here I go. Well, yes. So you have a really, really good memory. All of that's right. And yeah, we had been together for 12 and a half years. And I had pretty much, like, we just stopped being a team. We stopped being a unit, and we started to be more individuals, pursuing what we wanted individually and not together. So he basically chose his career over me. Like, he chose his aspiring career in music over our relationship. And I quickly fell from being a priority to not being a priority at all. And I kind of got replaced by music. And this has been like pretty intensely getting worse over the last 6 months. And so that was hard to deal with. And also I wanted the whole long-term vision of the future. I wanted marriage and children and family. And I'm very traditional that way. And after being together with for someone for so long, I had those expectations, and he had no interest in that at all. and he changed over time. So it was like, well, now our goals aren't even the same. Like, you're going and living the life that you want, good on you, but I'm really lacking in what I want. So yeah, we broke up at like the end of October of last year. And yeah, it's been a rough couple of months, like huge changes. We'd been together for so long. So, you know, I moved out and took the dog and moved back into my mom's house for the time being. And, you know, it's just like a lot of changes that way. So anyway, that was the end of that. And then I kind of was like, do I want to date? I don't know if I want to online date because I'm old school and I just don't like, I just want to meet people in person. I don't really like, I don't know. I was a little apprehensive about online dating. And so my best friend, she really kind of pushed me into doing that. And she's like, you're going to meet more people this way. Just try it. You can delete it if you hate it. Just try it. So I did. And I went on like a few just awful dates. And I had been like ready to throw in the towel at that point. Like, I can't do this. I haven't been single since I was 18. Like, I'm 35 now. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to do. And so then, like, the last thing I started to do was I just started talking to this guy, and we had the same kind of dog. So that was like, ooh, I have, you know, that started our conversation. Anyways, we started texting and talking and really wanted to like meet each other. And we did around like Christmas time, and it's been going great. So I'm happy that I can like move on from this long, painful decline that I was in to just something that's like completely upgraded in every way. And I feel really optimistic about my future, probably more than I ever have. And I'm in a much better place mentally than I have been in the last several years. So it's been like a roller coaster, really bad, really good, like just, yeah. So anyway, that's like a long-winded answer, but that's what I've been going through the last several months.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, kind of fast though, no? I mean, you're talking about ending a 12-year plus relationship 3 months ago, and now you're right in with a new guy. I mean, that doesn't give you any pause at all?
I think, you know, what's interesting is I had been kind of mourning the death of my old relationship, like death by 1,000 cuts. So I had been already kind of accepting that it was over and processing it myself, like alone, because he was always gone. So then by the time I broke up with him, I felt like I've already like done a lot of the mourning and processing. And I didn't want to just, I was like, I don't want to just be alone and ruminate, because that's just not what's going to make me feel better. So that's why I wanted to go out and try to meet at least new people. But I was a little disenchanted with the online dating thing. But anyway, I'm happy that I found like this new person and it's going well. So I can't complain.
So, I mean, it sounds like maybe your biggest gripe with this guy is that he was career first, or he was purpose first. I mean, do the women on the panel want to be a guy's main purpose for living? Do they want to be the number one focus in that guy's life? Do they want to be the priority over everything else? I'm kind of curious. Anybody can go. I'm curious if that's a shared sentiment, and that being that guy's, you know, girl is and being the most important thing to him is important to you.
I'm gonna go. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Hannah. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, no, I don't think that's attractive. Like, like I want to like, for a guy to be attractive to me is like he's just got to be doing his own thing, and like, I don't know. I just find that attractive. Go.
So you're cool with
doing his own thing to you?
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
Is he over in the corner playing PlayStation? He's playing Madden?
No, like doing something productive, like building something,
like building
his business, going to the gym.
Health.
Building legacy and, you know, health. Yeah,
I would have to agree. I wouldn't want my partner home. Mine works about 90 plus hours a week. He has his own business. and then he works for someone as well. And I get a lot of backlash because it's like, oh, he doesn't care, but does he? Does he not care? Because I wake up in the morning and I get to drive to go buy a $10 coffee and a $5 muffin, and I get to come home and then do life, do laundry, cook, clean, go to the gym, hang out with my kids. I'm not worried about what's due, what's not going to be paid. I don't know anything about that. If you ask me about politics, I'm going to tell you I don't know. But I will tell you that dinner is ready for when he comes home, and he's treated with love and respect, because at the end of the day, do we want a man who's going to protect, provide, and lead? Or do we want a man who's going to be our best friend holding our hand all day? I personally want someone that's going to protect, provide, and lead, so that I am in my most feminine playing my role in his life. I don't need to be the center. I am already the center of his world in a way, because he's out there providing. What else would he be doing? Like, Mr. Spencer said, at home playing Madden? No, thank you. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but masculine men tend to find an outlet working out or doing something that's going to be productive, not only for their health, but for their mind.
Hannah Square, what about you?
Well, I think a relationship is teamwork. So if you're with someone who is career driven, as long as that is somewhat benefiting the relationship, I don't see a problem with it. However, if you are with somebody who is only solely focusing on their career and their needs, and they're not focusing on your needs and, your well-being, then that's one-sided. Personally, I wouldn't be with somebody who chooses their career over me, but if they're working hard and it's benefiting the both of us, then I don't see an issue with it, as long as both of us are okay with it and we're both benefiting from it. But again, like Spencer said, like if you're going to sit at home playing video games, that's not okay. That's not benefiting either of us. But if you work hard, bring home the money, and, you're pulling your weight, I don't see an issue with it.
So, Erin, was it more about what he was doing, or was it just the simple fact that he was no longer making you a priority or the career one? I mean, because I remember I think the guy was a musician, right? So I think, was that part of it? Was the fact that, was he not going anywhere and he was engaging in a futile exercise, or was it just, I didn't get the attention that I wanted and that's became an issue?
I think the thing that really bothered me was he just would stop communicating. So even on his free time, he would just leave me on red, wouldn't respond to my texts, wouldn't answer my calls, and I wouldn't hear from him for a long time. And so when it came to his work, musicians, they work late nights and they work kind of just whenever they have gigs. So I'm not mad at him for that. That's he's living the life he wants, and I support that. It's what he's always wanted. But where it's not cool is to just shut out your partner or wife, girlfriend, whatever, and then just I'll text you when it's convenient. I'll communicate with you when it's convenient for me. Meanwhile, you are on the hook for kind of all the things, like cooking, cleaning, taking care of XYZ. And so that kind of became the dynamic. I would be making his life very convenient and very comfortable, and then he would go out and play music, having a great time. But again, it was just he wasn't interested in building a future with me. He was just interested in me giving to make his life better,
Yeah, but
better and
did
easier.
he pay bills? Did he take care of did he take care of the mortgage or the
No,
rent? Or
we
anything that?
we just split everything. No, so
Oh,
I mean, yeah, I mean, not really.
because that's
So
a
it kind
man's
of
job,
became
right?
a weird man-child situation.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
if
it seems
a guy's bringing home the bacon, hold on. If a guy is going out and working and he's putting his dent in the universe and he's going out and he's making the money and he's working 90 hours a week, even 40 hours a week, whatever, and he's taking care of things, I mean, doesn't that command doesn't that command respect in the household? Doesn't that make him the authority? You know, if I'm the one keeping the roof over the head and I'm keeping the bills paid, do I not get to say what goes and what doesn't in the relationship because I have the responsibility? Now, do I have the authority that comes with it?
I agree with you. That's
Because
how.
like I'm kind of confused because I heard from Hannah
you're
Squared,
asking
like
me?
this is, well, just in general. I mean, but Hannah
Yeah.
Squared, like you said something along the lines of, well, I wouldn't want a guy that picks the relationship or that picks his career over me and the relationship. But then in the same breath, it's like, oh, well, as long as he's going out and making money, then everything's okay. So, I mean,
Well, yeah, and that wasn't always the situation. Like there was this one event where this kind of like pushed me over the edge actually was I decided to make this really nice dinner for him for no reason, just because I don't know, I like to do nice things for him. And I prepped everything ahead of time, went to the store the night before, everything. It was like a project. And he knew I was doing this. And so we were planning on like having dinner that night when he got home from work. And he's like, yeah, I'm down. That sounds great. Well, that time kind of rolled around and he decided to go to the gym instead, which I'm like, fine, whatever. And then after that, he decided to go hang out with some friends instead. And then so we had like plans to have dinner and he stopped answering my calls, didn't text me back. He didn't come home until like 12:30 a.m. And he knew that like I had done that for him. We had plans together. I worked hard for this. And he knew all of that. And he still just like completely didn't come home until 12:30. And so then when he did, I was really upset that he had done that. And I asked him like, what's going on? And his answer was, oh yeah, we just got caught up and I wanted to go do this concert and meet this band and see this person. And he was completely clueless to the pain that he had caused me and to the ghosting and the dismissal that he had caused me. So that was if that just shows kind of that was like normal, and I couldn't take that anymore. And so he can go out and make money all day long, but you can't do stuff like that, especially when someone's like putting effort in the relationship and doing something nice for you and you just like ghost them. Like that's not nice. Like you can't do that. So yeah, that was like the beginning of the end. The next morning I like dropped the axe down and was like, look, you should just be single because then you can do whatever you want. You don't have to deal with me being accountable to me. So anyway.
What does your new guy think about you having guy friends? Because that's one of the things you said you disagree with us on. You think women and men can be friends and you think that's something that you do and it works for you. So, why is that your opinion? What comes from that? Like, where do you come on that stance that men and women can be friends?
Because I have male friends now and I'm in a relationship now. Even when I was with my previous boyfriend, I still had male friends. And yeah, they were all extremely helpful when I was going through the breakup too. And I'm just, So
in what way?
Listening, relating, supporting, like all the things that I just needed to help process. They were just there for me. Like a friend would be.
Nobody tried to make a move on you. Nobody tried to confess their undying love for you.
No, not to my knowledge. No, so far they haven't. But it was really nice because that breakup, I was just really upset and depressed for like a long time. And my friends, male and female, they helped me immensely. So I do think that women and men can be friends. And
but
just help
you
me
understand how it doesn't benefit men to be friends with women, right? I mean, before I go into that, what do the rest of the ladies on the panel think? Like, Ileana, you already said no. I mean, you already said you don't have male friends. Men and women can't be friends. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, I don't agree because any man who is truly invested, for example, boys don't chase women. Men don't chase, boys chase women. Masculine men don't chase women. They court their future wife. And so if a man is genuinely interested in you, he's not going to want to have you have guy friends. No, I don't have any male friends.
Why is that? Why is that though? Why?
Because you allow the door to be open for an opinion. I would never go to another man about what my fiance did 2 days ago, that he didn't put his shoes where there it was. It's just an example where they were supposed to go, because now that man has the opportunity to be like, yeah, he's such an a-hole, he shouldn't be doing that, you're working so hard in the home. And now he knows what he's doing. Men know what they're doing, and they know how to get in, because there's always going to be an opportunity. And any guy who's comfortable being a friend to a woman, I'm sorry to say this and no disrespect to any man, but he's literally just simping his way into the possibility of being in the friend zone to possibly be your friend. No real man is going to allow a woman to drag him in friendship, because any man that's attracted to you, that's your friend, you give him the opportunity, he's going to take it.
Hannah Fudge, what do you think?
Yeah, like I agree. Like, yeah, guys and girls, like, yeah, it doesn't work to be friends. I have a lot of, not a lot, but like I have a few like relationships with men, but they're more like working relationships, because I do like other side hustles in politics. So I have like working relationships with men, but I wouldn't say I really have any like guy friends who I would call just to
hang out. You're not texting them like, hey,
Yeah.
what's going on? What are you doing? Having conversations. It's strictly work related.
Yeah. And basically like guy friends, like if you have guy friends, like you're pretty much dating them. Even like if you have a boyfriend too, like you're still like, that's still technically like the dating phase. Like he hasn't like asked you to marry him, so you know, like I think even like I think the boyfriend is a whole scam too. It's either you're dating or you're married. I mean, maybe like it could be okay to have guy friends if like they're giving you something, like if you're getting something from them, okay, like have guy friends. But like I don't think that makes it right, because this guy is like investing in you if you're receiving benefit from it. So
I want to come back to that the marriage or dating, whatever that means. I want to expand on that a little bit more. But Hannah Square, what do you think? Do you think men and women being friends, is that cool? Do you have guy friends? What's the deal with that?
I mean, if I think about my guy friends, most of them are gay, but that's just me. But I think it depends on the relationship and what boundaries you have set with your partner. If you're dating somebody and they explicitly say, you know, I don't feel comfortable with you being friends with guys, that's one thing. If they're fine with it, that's one thing, because to each their own. But I mean,
what if he just tells you no? What if he doesn't even what if he doesn't even soften it up, saying I don't feel comfortable? He's just like, yeah, you can't have guy friends.
Well,
what if he says it like that?
For me personally, if they explicitly told me no, but they had a good reason for it, then I would respect that.
What's a good reason?
Insecurity, past relationships, things like that. I would respect that, because I honestly have been in relationships before where my partner has had friends with girls, and you know, I was like, you know, whatever, fine. I was, you know, stupid, and I was like, you know, you can be friends with her, it's fine. And then it ended up going south. But if you're in a relationship with somebody and they don't care, and as long as you're not a piece of shit and you're not, you know, cheating on them, I don't see an issue with it. Obviously, trust me, I have had friends with guys and I've had to cut those the friendship off, because they did try to wiggle their way in, and I've noticed those signs. But I mean, like, if your partner is okay with it and you're not hanging out with them one-on-one and you're not flirting with them, I don't see an issue with it, but that's just me. But yeah, here's my thing. If you're in a relationship with somebody, and for me, if I were in a relationship with a guy and I was friends with a guy, I would personally never hang out with a guy one-on-one on our own, because I respect my partner and I wouldn't want them to think that anything's going on. I would never let anything happen. But, you know, if you're like, again, I don't see an issue with it as long as everything is completely platonic and there's
But
no
it's not a
flirting
thing,
going
right?
on.
There's no such thing as a completely platonic relationship between men and women, right? I mean, can we agree on that? Can we agree that men and women, or at least men are only hanging out with women because they find them attractive or they think something sexual potentially may happen? And
What
I'll
about
tell you this, like any guy who tells you otherwise, he's lying to you.
And
what about my friends who are men but they're not straight? They're still guys, right?
I don't generally think that there are as many gay men out there as they claim to be. But even if that were the case, like if I said, "Hey, no guy friends," that means no guy friends. Like that's
No,
it.
you're right. You're right.
And
And
yeah, so I mean,
now with a guy who I know is willingly straight and but on our own, like one on one, like nobody else around. But if I'm in a
but like,
group setting,
what
I'm not
about
gonna.
going farther? Like text, like you're gonna text them, you're gonna talk to them on the phone, you're gonna like, I mean, where do we draw the line? Is it just in person, or like you're gonna
Yeah,
text them stuff?
I would say in person is where we draw the line because
so you
if
could still text guys that are not your boyfriend on the side.
I mean, like if you're texting them back and forth, like in a whole conversation, as long as it stays completely platonic, the second that you start flirting with them, that's where things go south, and that's where you need to cut it off. But if you're
Why
just,
even open that door? Why even give that even a crack in the door? Why not just close it completely?
because if it's platonic, then what's the problem? If there's
Well, I just said there's no
romantic-
such thing as platonic. Like, because there's, again, men don't want to be friends with women because men are interested in women's hobbies and the stuff they talk about. Like, women generally, I mean, like, let's just be clear. Women don't have a lot of hobbies that overlap with men. We just don't. I mean, the stuff that we like to do, the stuff that me and Spence like to do, traveling, shooting, going, working out, doing crazy stuff, getting dirty and muddy, and just going out in the, like, whatever the hell. Like, there's not a lot of women that take interest in the stuff that we like to do. Like, I've known a lot of women, their interests are going out, getting their hair done, getting nails pressed, going to brunch, talking about men, right? They don't do a whole lot. So I mean, I don't understand, like, if we can agree that men are really only interested in women because they think something sexual could potentially happen, then that would stand to reason that any male-female relationship cannot possibly be platonic. It just doesn't exist, because men have never in the history of our species have ever looked at women as friends. They've always looked at them as potential sexual or romantic options.
No, I mean, I get that. I'm sure that there's more men out there than not who do see it that way. However,
All of them.
I have yet to be one. I mean, I have met male friends who I do get along with on certain things, and maybe it's just because I'm interested in certain hobbies that maybe are more male dominated. However, for me and my relationship and past relationships, I have never really been put in a position where I felt the need to tell my partner, or my partner really tells me that we can't have male relationships. I've also never really had male relationships friendship wise that person wasn't gay. And that might just be me. Maybe I just attract gay men as friends, maybe, but I don't know. I think as long as your relationship and your partner, the boundaries you set in your relationship, as long as, you know, whatever goes on in your relationship is all that matters. I think as a whole, if you choose, if okay, here's the thing. If we sit here and we say that you can't have male friends when you're in a relationship as putting everyone together, that's a problem. As long as you are secure in your because why do you care about someone's relationship?
Hold on real quick. Spence, you want to grab that super? Let's come back to that.
Yeah, sure.
Anything 20, we're going to read right away. Go ahead.
Oh, Iliana almost said it, but basically guy friends who are straight are waiting to get a chance to sleep with you. If they are happy, then that's the exception. Happy
in the old-timey meaning of happy. G-A-Y. I don't even agree with that. I don't think gay men are an exception either. I mean, I don't think that's really much of an exception either. But Hannah, go back to your point. So you think making sweeping generalizations or saying men and women can't be friends is a problem?
Well, yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like to sit here and say that, like, you can't have male friends when you're in a relationship is, I don't know. I feel like everyone to each their own. If your relationship, if your partner doesn't want you to have male friends, that's one thing. But if I'm in a relationship and you're in a relationship and you tell me I can't have male friends, like, you're not my partner. If my partner tells me it's okay, then it's fine. If I'm not cheating on my partner and I'm just genuinely friends with somebody, like, who cares?
I think that by having like male friends, I think you're kind of like admitting, okay, like my man can't provide everything I need. So like that's why I need to have other relationships with other guys, because like my man just can't provide it all for me.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, what are you getting? What are you getting outside of? What are you getting from other guys outside of your relationship?
Well, what if I had female friends? What am I getting from them that my man's not providing?
It's
I guess more of like emotional, like just girly.
You can do girly gay shit that men don't want to do. Like
I mean,
go to
I go
brunch and
shooting
talk
with
about
my
dudes.
female friends.
Man can do
Immediately,
it.
you're going to get your nails
Wait, hold
done.
on, hold on,
Get your
hold
hair
on. Here's
done.
my thing is I go shooting with my female friends. That's considered a manly thing, but I'm doing it with my girlfriends. But otherwise, I would be getting my hair done and my nails done with my girlfriends. However, I'm doing something that's considered male dominated, right?
Yeah, but you're not going shooting every day. I mean, you're not going to brunch
No, but
every
it's
day.
a hobby, right? Do you do your hobbies
Sure.
every single day? Maybe, but you know,
Most
some
of them,
some of
yeah.
us don't do our hobbies every day.
I
Okay.
shoot with my husband.
So, I mean,
Okay.
what I'm saying though is you generally will do things with people that have shared interests, just like you do. Women are generally concerned with and they have shared interest about the same things. It's opposite with men. Men and women's interests and hobbies generally don't overlap. So that's all that I'm driving at here. But yeah, why go? I mean, if you're gonna go shooting, you're gonna go with guy friends? No, you'd go with your boyfriend, I guess. And that's the whole point we're trying to make.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like to each their own, and agree to disagree. I mean, for me in my relationship, I have guy friends. Again, they're all gay. Like, I would never put myself in a position where I'm friends with a guy and they're actively trying to pursue me. I would shut that down right away, and I would hope anybody in a relationship would do that, regardless if you're male or female.
But guys will wait around forever. Like guys will wait for their shot. They won't make it known that they want to sleep with you or that they're chasing you romantically for years, decades even. So I mean, again, like I think any man worth his salt is not going to be cool with or going to allow his girl to entertain any other men that are not him. It just doesn't make any sense.
Also, can I
But
say
anyway,
something?
yeah, please. And we're going to move on.
Like if your man says like, hey, like I don't want you to have guy friends, like you either respect him and follow that, or you don't respect him. And like if there's no respect, like I just don't think that relationship is gonna work.
No, and I agree. That's why I said that in the beginning. If your partner says they don't want you to have male friends, and you don't have male friends, if you respect that, that's cool. If you don't, then what's the point of the relationship?
What's a hard line that a guy might give you that you would disagree with? If you said, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, and you would want to tell him no. Anybody?
I mean,
is there anything?
I don't think there should be anything. Like you should agree with everything your guy says. Like he's
well, I mean,
in
there's
a relationship. Like you should trust him to lead him. If there's no trust, then there's no really relationship. Why?
Yeah. Because if you naturally want, what I've noticed is a lot of modernized women want a provider, a protector, and a leader. But when he gets to the point of doing just that, he gets questioned like, oh, yeah, you want to go there, but no, not that way, this way. Oh, no. And that's why now we see a lot of 50-50 relationships. I could never be in a 50-50 dynamic because I don't want to pay bills. I'm sorry. I want to cook. I want to clean. I want to take care of the kids. I want to facilitate his life so that he can continue to provide, protect, and lead. That is the head of the household. Nothing gets questioned. And if I do have a question, there's a good approach. There's an approach that you can take with him in not questioning his authority, but just, can you help me understand why this was done in the way that it was done, but never questioning it and never correcting him. Men need to self-correct. And when you have that, and like Hannah said, when you have that dynamic, you know your role. And it doesn't mean that he's better than you. It's just, if you truly believe in being traditional, then traditional means you allow your husband, your partner, to be the head of the household, in and out of the home. You respect him. You literally represent who he is when you walk out that door.
And Ileana, I do agree with you on that. My only thing is if a man ever told me to cut off family or anything like that, that's the one thing I don't think I could agree on, because if I'm with a man and they feel the need to power trip on me and you're spending too much time with your family or blah, 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 that's the only time I don't think I could ever agree or see eye to eye with somebody that I'm in a relationship with. Because if they're trying to take you away from family, because I think family's everything.
I don't think a man
would never do.
Yeah, a man shouldn't do something that is gonna like make you upset and make you stressed. Like if a man
that's not necessarily true. I mean, if you get upset, that's a byproduct. Like a man is going to do what he thinks is right for the relationship. You may not like it and you might cry and complain, but he's going to do what he thinks is best. And I mean, This is where we start to get in trouble, right? Because women love to say, I want a man that can lead. I want a man that's about his business. I want a man that does what he's supposed to do. I want a man that can drive the ship, until I disagree. And now I get to insert my thing. So it's like, to Ileana's point, it's like, if you're going to buy into this guy, you buy in 100%, or otherwise don't do it. I mean, because there could be a very good reason if he says, hey, I don't need you to spend time with your family as much anymore. Right? Maybe it's for a good reason. Maybe it's like, hey, your family takes advantage of you emotionally and makes you their punching bag, and you're too close to the situation to see it. Let's just use that as an example. Is there ever a time where that's an acceptable thing? I think there's going to be gray areas and there's going to be nuance at play. So to sit here and draw a hard line and say, no, I'll never allow that no matter what, I think you're going to potentially leave yourself open to mistakes.
Yeah, and like if you're not going like 100% in, like why is he gonna 100% like commit and marry you? Like if you're not going 100% in, if you're not like totally committing to him, like why should he go in 100%?
I mean, Erin, you already said you can have guy friends. So like what else are you allowed to do no matter what, and a guy can't tell you no? Does your guy think it's cool you have guy friends? Is he cool with it? He doesn't have a problem with it as of yet?
He's not the jealous type. No, he's totally fine with it. It doesn't bother him. So, but
let's not
back
call
to
it
this
jealousy.
whole he's not
what it is, but it's not jealousy. It's being smart. It's protecting.
Well, it kind of. I feel like it has these jealous undertones.
How so?
And I'm in the sense that, well, back to what I was saying real quick before I forget.
Sure.
Just because you don't have the boundaries needed to have that, just because you don't, doesn't mean that no one else does. That might work for you, but that's not a universal truth, in my opinion. So again, might work for you, doesn't mean that it applies to everyone.
What boundaries do you mean?
What are we talking about exactly though? What's not a universal truth? Like, what are we talking about?
Well, like if you're a man and boundaries between you can be friends with women because you have boundaries there, right? You would cross those boundaries. If you feel like you don't have those and you can't keep that friendship.
Are boundaries ironclad though? I mean, like, is there never a boundary that's ever been crossed? Is there a line in the sand, or is there an imaginary force field that's keeping boundaries from being crossed? Boundaries get crossed all the time. People cheat on each other all the time. People do stuff like, oh, I don't know, it just happened, right? So it's like, I mean, the example that we like to use, it's like, yeah, I trust the locks on my car. Am I going to park it in a bad neighborhood and let people try to grab at it and try to break into it? No. Why would I do that? Why would I even open the door and put it in a situation where something could potentially happen?
But that's in my opinion, that's why dating is essential. That's why you should date for a long period of time before you marry that person, because that allows you to test the waters and see if they're willing to respect those boundaries. And I'm not saying that in marriage you can't cross boundaries and cheat on your partner, because trust me, that happens all the time. However, when you are dating someone, that allows you to kind of like take a look into that person and, again, test the waters and see like, okay, if I say I don't think doing XYZ is okay with me, if they respect that, then cool. Like maybe that's somebody that I want to be with in the long run. But if they don't respect that, then, maybe that's not somebody I want to spend the rest of my life with.
But I think most people would agree that cheating on your boyfriend or girlfriend is not an acceptable behavior, but it still happens. People that are together for decades cheat on each other. So I mean,
that's a skill issue a lot of people have. Like if you let your boyfriend cheat on you and you stay with them, like you're stupid.
No. That's not. We can get into that, but that's not exactly what we're saying. The point that we're making is that just having boundaries doesn't insulate you from bad things happening or people crossing those boundaries, because if you still allow for there to be gray area and you still allow for the door to be open, you're allowing and you're giving room for those boundaries to be crossed. I'm not going to take a drug addict and give them a little bit of meth just to see if they can handle it. I'm not going to give an alcoholic a beer, just one. One. My boundary is just one. You better not have any more than one. Why would I even do that? I wouldn't even do that. Why would I give them one? Why would I just not put them in a situation where that would even happen? Well, why even have the door open?
Yeah. Some people have the self-control and some people don't. Yeah. I just don't think that it can be applied to everyone the same way.
I do have a question for the panel. So can your boyfriend have the same relationship that you have with other male friends with a woman? Can he text her good morning? Can he say, hey, what's up? How are you? How was your day? Like, can he have that relationship? And are you going to be comfortable with a girl, like Sandy, notifying him having a constant conversation? Oh, we're just going to go grab coffee really quick. It's nothing. It's just platonic. I'm going to go buy her coffee because I'm a gentleman. So I'm going to buy her coffee. Oh, no, she's just texting me that her dog left. I'm going to go help her.
Well,
Is
no,
that-
Well, see,
because-
that's not what I'm doing to my male friends.
Okay.
Like, yeah, that's not how I treat
Yeah,
my
your male friends
friends
are getting crushed. They're getting raked over the coals. You're getting all the benefit.
I don't do
You're getting
that
all
to
the
them.
They are
So
texting buddies
No, this is what
purely.
yeah, they're texting buddies.
They're not
your
getting
emotional
anything
punching
in
bags.
return. No benefit.
no, I mean, it's, I have, like I said, I have those boundaries and I'm not doing all of that to them. So if my boyfriend were to do the same thing, it would be like, well, no, because I'm not even, I just don't treat my male friends that way. And that's just how I am. But so my
you
friends,
lean on them for emotional support, and
well, yeah,
their
when I did
shoulders to
that, when
cry
I
on.
didn't have a boyfriend, yeah, I was like, I'll talk to anyone. I'll see anyone. I am in like a pretty, I was not in a great state of mind. So I was grateful that they were helping me, but I wasn't like,
do you really
hey,
think
I
that
miss
none of your
you.
male friends would sleep with
It
you?
doesn't work like that.
Do you think that those male friends would sleep with you given the chance or no?
I mean, given the chance, I would say no, because we both have that boundary. Again, it's like we can
No,
talk
giving
about.
them the chance is crossing the boundary. I'm saying if you gave them the chance and said, "Hey, line up, let's go," do you think they?
Yeah,
would
I
do it?
wouldn't. But that's the thing is, I wouldn't because I have the self-control, and I wouldn't
Erin,
even propose
It's called a
that.
hypothetical. It's
I'm
called a
sorry.
hypothetical. Let's say
Call them
you
right
did.
now and ask.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't. If given the chance, I just
Let's say
don't.
you were single. Let's say you were
Yeah.
single. You weren't even in a relationship. Let's say if you were single, do you think they would try? Do you think if you invited them and said, "Hey,
yes.
listen, come over"?
I
Okay.
think so.
So if that's the case,
There we go.
if you
Mhm.
know that these men would try to sleep with you if given the chance, are they
Mhm.
really even your friends? Does a platonic relationship even exist?
I think so.
Well,
Yeah, they can still be my
how can
friends.
those two? How can those conflict? If you know that guy has a
Mhm.
romantic or sexual attraction to you, and it stands to reason that's one of the main reasons, if not the main reason, that he even has a friendship with you. Are you cool with that? Like you're comfortable with that? You're fine with the guy being with you or hanging out with you or listening to you because he's attractive to you and wants to sleep with you? That doesn't.
What if
That
it never
doesn't.
gets? Yeah, it doesn't really escalate like that. Like we don't really get into
But
those
it's not
kinds
about
of
if it happens or not.
conversations.
But you know that it's got the capacity to. You know that
Mhm.
there's a guy out there that would sleep with you given the chance. How can you consider him a platonic friend if you're admitting to yourself right now live on this panel that you know it's not platonic?
I guess it's his behavior towards me, and how he doesn't. Like I said, we can just stay friends.
Do you want me to
Like
answer
when
it for you?
I
Because you know where I'm going with this,
what
right?
what do you think?
I think Bella, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Bella, can you hear this? Check one. She's behind backstage. Okay. Oh, there she is. Okay, she's a little bit laggy. Bella, we will get to
asking
you
for it.
in a
Fan
minute. They
favorite
really,
is
they
here.
really have. Let me say this, Erin. This is what I honestly think. This is what I
What?
honestly think.
Yeah.
This is what I think to any woman that has male friends.
Okay.
I think that women love male friends. Women love male friends the same reason that guys like to keep friends with benefits around. And you know why? I'll tell you this. Because women love to have a guy they can talk to that tunes into their emotional needs, the shoulder they can cry on. They can come home and tell them their stories about how hard work was, or they're fighting with this friend or whatever it is. And they get all the benefits of that. And they get all the benefits of what women really want, which is emotional security and emotional needs being met. But they don't have to give up anything in terms of intimacy, physicality, sexuality, or anything like that. The other side of that coin is a guy who gets to go sleep with the girl and doesn't have to give any of the emotional stuff in return. He doesn't have to listen to her problems. He doesn't have to listen to she's fighting with Susie over the office water cooler or like what guy she's arguing with a chick over, and he gets just to bounce. So it's like, I just don't see how, if we can admit that a guy friend would sleep with you, that's a platonic relationship. I don't, and here's the deal. If we can admit that and we can be okay, and you can just say, hey, yeah, like I like them, I keep them around because I don't have to sleep with them, but I also like, they listen to me. Fine. What do you think? Are you willing to admit that?
I see the point you're trying to make. Yeah, I do.
So
I see
diplomatic.
it.
I love it.
I see where you're trying to go with this.
Okay. But you don't agree.
I just don't think all my male friends want to sleep with me. I don't think they do.
What
And
if 80% of them do? What if 99% of them do? What if 1% of them do?
What if?
If one
can't
person
control
does,
that.
is that not enough? Is it not enough for one person though? Is that relationship still platonic? Is what I'm
so
trying
what
to
am I
get at.
gonna do? Be like, I can't. I'm like, yeah. I just
If you ever wanna be
again.
somebody's wife, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. If you ever want to be a wife and be taken care of and loved and protected, then yes. Because a lot of the times, as women, and I had to learn this. I didn't always have this mentality. Is what we want, we need to be it as well. If we want someone to provide for us, protect, and lead us, we need to do the inner work before we get to that part. Because there are men, I like to say this, women start at the top of the mountain and men start at the bottom of the mountain. Women are born with value. You devalue yourself as a woman, the more men you sleep with, how you carry yourself in the world, what it is that you do, how loud you are. Men climb the mountain. They literally start at nothing. They have to gain their value. They have to get the better job. They have to get the car. They have to get the house. They're climbing to get their worth. And we deteriorate. And then the moment we start getting older, we hit the wall, and we've never had kids. We've never been married. The men who are already climbing at the mountain, they don't want us. Because for what? You're not even a wife. You don't have a wife-like mentality. You don't have a serving heart. And I can't do it. Because I used to
Now,
think
that was
that
something.
Oh, no,
Yeah, go
no.
ahead, Eliana. Finish your point.
Okay, sorry. Like I used to
No,
think
finish
that
your
way. It's fine. It's fine. No. And I am in my most happiest now in the years that I've done the inner work. And I was in a long time relationship, and I literally took years off of being with anybody because I needed to do the inner work. But that was it. Sorry.
No, it's a good point. I mean, that goes into another subject we brought up before, which I got to get to some of these. I mean, I love the conversation, but we got to get to some of these topics because they are really good. Plus, we beat the whole male friendship things to death. I mean, just
Yeah, sorry.
crossbones, scientific. No, please, no. I'm talking about like in general, like on all of our shows, and we already know where Bella stands.
We
on that.
revisit
Bella has
it
a
all
bunch
the
of male
time.
friends, and she's cool with it, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, yada yada.
I have plenty of opinions.
All right, Bella.
We're well aware. Chat. Plus one in the chat if you're aware of Bella's opinions. But Eliana, you brought up a good point, and this is something that Erin you also disagreed with this backstage, or you had a question, or you questioned what we mean when we say that as women get older, they lose their value on the sexual marketplace. It's something you disagree with, right? Or you were looking for more clarification on that?
Yes.
What
Yes,
specifically? You just disagree with it?
I think just this whole concept of someone loses value as they age, it's like, well, who's determining what that value is? And again, I just don't like that may be true for one person, but that doesn't make it true for everyone. And I think it seems pretty dismissive of a large majority of women altogether. And I think it discounts other attributes like life experience or among other things. But I just don't really care for this whole like, you mean less because I don't view you as this young ideal. And so you're less important to society. And I just think that's a really mean way to view people in general, but especially women. So, yeah.
Well, it has nothing to do with how you are valuable or not valuable to society, unless the idea you have as a valuable society where more, where the marriage rate is high, where more women and men are together than they are single. I mean, if that's your idea of a good society, I think it's a pretty good one. I mean, we know what happens when there are single parents raising kids, generally single mothers raising children. They, on a balance of probability across the board, they turn out worse than kids that come from a mother and father household, when things like teen pregnancy, incarceration, a whole other thing, a number of things we can talk about. But when we generally talk about your level of attractiveness or your value on the sexual marketplace, not your value as a person, I don't generally, I mean, you could talk about if you think people are valuable and how you measure that, but I think we're talking about in the context of sex and relationships. And so as men are generally fixated on aesthetics and beauty, that's our primary driver for the women that we want to sleep with or mate with or have kids with. Overwhelmingly, men have been pulled and men have evolved to be attractive to markers of fertility, youth, beauty, rosy cheeks, wide hips. And if there's research and data that shows from guys that were polled with the age from 18 all the way to their 70s, that the average most attractive age, or the age that they found women most attractive, was like 23 years old. And so generally men don't care about life experience. They don't care about the degrees on your wall. They don't care about how much money you make. They have no bearing about any of these things that women kind of want to hang their hats on. And it sucks because I think a lot of women are lied to. Like, women are being told, go make the money, go get big brained, like go get indoctrinated and go get your, master's degree and whatever the fuck. And then they expect, like, okay, like, I've been in school for 10 years. I made all this money. Where's my line of men around the block for me to choose from? And all those dudes are hanging out with 21, 22-year-olds that are fun to be around, that haven't been mentally broken down by stress of their high-paying job or career or a very lengthy schooling process. That's just the way it boils down to. Look, there's great-looking women in their 30s and 40s. There's really ugly women in their 20s. But generally, younger women tend to be more attractive, more beautiful at scale. And that's what men who have their pick of the litter, who are spoiled for choice, they're typically the women that men will go after.
Mm-hmm.
But what's that saying of the men that go after the conventionally attractive women rather than the women who work hard and make a name of themselves?
It means they're just men. I mean, it's biology.
Yeah,
Biologically,
it means they want someone like below them. They don't want somebody who's smarter than them or
like, I'm probably
successful
the
than
youngest.
them.
I'm the youngest person on this panel probably, and I'm financially independent, and I can say that confidently. Like, my parents don't pay a dime for anything. My health insurance I pay for, my phone bill, my rent, everything. And I love to brag about that because I worked hard for it. Like, am I
you're entitled
conventionally
to brag about that. You're entitled to brag about that, but men don't owe you their attraction. Like, men don't owe you their attraction.
Fine. I don't want a man that thinks that I'm, nothing more than just my looks. But at the end,
that's not what I said, though, is it?
What?
Kind of.
It's not what, but that's not what I said, though. I said it's their primary driver. I'm talking about that's what men are generally looking for. It's the most important thing they look for. It's not the only thing, but it's certainly the most important thing in terms of.
Yeah, but that's sad, right? Like, you have.
Why is that sad?
Because how are you going to look at a female and your primary driver is her looks rather than what she brings to the table? But as females, we have to look at what men bring to the table.
Correct. Because men find things attractive in women, and women find different things attractive in men. We're completely different people.
But is that like
what, fair?
I don't know. Like, is that like okay? Like,
biology.
Really,
you're
really
arguing
here,
with biology.
This isn't really about what it ought to be. This is about what it is.
What it is.
Thousands of years of evolution have come together to make men attracted to beauty and women attracted more towards a guy's ability to gather resources.
Right. Yeah, okay. I mean, the same mechanism, really quick, I know Bella wants to chime in. The same mechanism that in your brain, whatever it is you find attractive in your boyfriend, maybe he's tall, maybe he can get stuff done, maybe he's resourceful, maybe he's got a bright future ahead. Those same things that make him attractive to you, those same mechanisms, it's just it's reversed. It's the other side of the coin for men. We can't help being attractive or being attracted to hot women that exude attributes of fertility any more than you can help being attracted to the guy for whatever reason you're attracted to him. It's all natural.
Okay.
It's biology.
I want to let Bella talk because I want to hear her opinion, and I'm not disagreeing with you. Listen, I am gonna see eye to eye with you on that from a biology standpoint. I will agree with you on that. Maybe it's just the way we're built. You're right. Do I think it's right? No, but at the end of the day, like if that's just how men are built, like I'm not a guy.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if women loved couch potato fat asses that do nothing but play video games and eat candy all day, but that's not
Plenty
the
of them
reality.
do.
But are you dating them?
Yeah.
You dumped the guy because because he was broke.
No, I didn't dump him because he was broke. He was broke and I dumped him. So I still dated a broke guy.
We missed you so much. Yeah, but you're not with him now.
I'm like a
You're not
favorite
with him
here,
now.
by the way,
You're not with
girls.
him now, though. I mean, you're not. But anyway, what did you have to say? on that
Okay,
topic?
so
Why is that an issue?
Well, as someone who's very into biology, I agree. There is some biological thing that men are drawn to, the points of youth in a woman, but that that statistic that you're looking for that you were looking at from OkCupid that shows that everybody's interested in the 20-year-olds. I think that was in America. And so when you go to like other countries like Europe and stuff, they value older women a lot more in, say, France and Europe. And so that thing was American, I think. So I think it's more of society and how
We're not talking
built it
about
up.
just age, though. Do you see how you just hold on, Spencer? Do you see how you just?
I didn't get a chance to talk about it the whole time. I had to bring it back to the age.
But you're talking, but it doesn't have to go back to age because I just said there's women that are attractive in their 30s and 40s, and there's ugly women in their 20s.
Even older, you're still like in the baby making age range, like.
Which is the whole reason men are attracted to women in the first place.
Okay, well,
because we want to procreate.
There's more point to then procreating. Not every man wants to procreate, and not every woman wants to procreate. Also,
yes, but they're wanting to procreate. It doesn't mean you don't have the natural desire.
Okay, so say you're in your 60s or your 50s or whatever, and you want a woman who's equal to you, and you just want a partner. You don't want a kid anymore. Maybe you already have kids. You don't need a fucking 20-year-old,
First of all,
right?
Women can never be equal, especially in a relationship. There's always somebody that's got the power, and there's always somebody that's above. There's always the adorer and the adoree.
I know.
There's always somebody that's looking up. No, but it's just a fact. I mean, there's always somebody that's of course there is. There's somebody that's looking up to the other. No, there's zero partnerships. How
Ladies,
so?
do you agree with this?
What is a partnership?
Someone always has to be in charge in a relationship?
Yes.
Yeah, the man.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Hannah,
I would never. I could never go in if my fiance lost his job. I would help him, but I would never get with a man who can't protect, provide, or lead. Can you provide for a man 1,000%? Because most women will say, oh, 50, 50, 50, 50. What if he loses his job? Now you have to cook, clean, take care of the kids, do this, do that, pay the bills. Can you do that? That's not what we were built for.
But we're talking about in charge. Like, I still think that's fine. In charge is like making the rules. Like, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like, you're saying provide, protect, be a healthy masculine husband. Sure, that's good. That's not what I'm saying.
But that gives you the responsibility. That gives you that's the responsibility that gives you the authority.
To do. Everybody's got duties.
Because that gives me the authority. If I'm doing all that and I'm leading and I'm making the rules and I'm bringing home the money and I'm giving you the house to live in and I'm bringing home the cook or the food for you can cook it up and I'm giving you the materials necessary to take care of children, that means that I dictate what happens in that house. Because if I stop doing that, you're not going to go do it.
And if I stop doing that, the house is a wreck. So then what?
Yeah,
if I stop cooking,
then you're out the door.
You don't have food. You don't have clean clothing.
Then you're out the door, and I'll go find somebody else that does.
Oh,
it's
really?
that easy. Yeah. Why? What's
no? Okay. Women can find a man in 20 seconds. You would take a while.
Yeah, women can find women. Women can find. Hold on, real quick. And then I'm gonna get to Ileana. Yeah, women can go. Women
in 10 minutes.
No, you can't find.
You can't
you
find
wouldn't be able to. Hold on.
You would struggle just because you're not because I mean, women are abundant. It's not that's not the problem.
Do you know even what you're saying, Bella? The point that I'm agreeing on is that, yes, you could find 10 men, but those 10 men aren't going to be guys that you're going to be in a long-term relationship with. If you could just go walk outside and find 10 men that you want to be in a long-term relationship with, you would just go do it. But you're here and you're single. So you're not.
I'm not
doing it.
single, actually. We didn't ask
Oh,
that.
well, I'd love to hear that.
Oh,
I'd love to hear the story behind this.
he's jealous,
you.
everybody. He's
I want to get
jealous.
to Eliana first.
I agree with you, Moff. So a few years back, I used to work for a multimillionaire whose name I cannot say, but I was his personal assistant. We had a really great, relationship. I used to manage his dating profile, and because a lot of women can Google him. They know who he is, how much he makes. They would never go just to coffee with him. And he ended up dating another millionaire. She's a millionaire. They ended up finding each other, which was great because she has her own money, but he didn't care. Long story short, we ended up coming back to his office, and I was leaving for the week because she was going to be there. I let her know this is what he has for the week. This is what he needs to be given in the morning. And she turned around. Mind you, she's 45, 40 something now. Never been married, has never had kids. And she turned around and said, he has hands. I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. And I said, and that's why, and I used to be a single mom back then. And that's why he would choose me like this as a single mom, change my status, buy me whatever I want, buy me a house because I have a serving heart. I'm willing to get up. I'm willing to serve him. And I'm willing to do the things that he shouldn't have to worry about because anybody can be replaced.
Well, weren't you
Who
an
did he
employee?
choose?
Huh?
Sorry.
No, I didn't hear what you said.
Who did he choose then?
It was a platonic relationship. He was my boss, so I would never pick him. But the moment I said that to her, because she was very attracted to him, she really liked him, even though she's extremely smart. I mean, I love and respect her. We actually have a good relationship now. She said, "You are correct. I have never learned to be a wife, and that's why I have been single and lonely for so many years because I became my own man. I became a man, building my legacy, becoming a millionaire, driving. I can buy whatever I want for myself, but that's not what she truly wanted. She truly wanted to build a family, but she got too old. And now that she's ready to build a family, her options are very minimal. Because the men that are in her bracket don't want her because she's a masculine woman.
Well, it sounds like that's shitty men then.
Yeah, it sounds like men caused her to.
I was gonna
that way.
say, like,
She didn't have
Why?
anybody to
dating
make
It
her a
always
wife.
comes back to men's fault. It always comes back to men's fault. She
Wait,
went and
what's
made a
that?
bunch of money.
Yeah,
She
because
made
if you're
personal
success-
choices.
no, if you are a successful woman and you built a name for yourself, what man wouldn't want you?
Plenty.
The men that don't want you want
Are
to have
insecure.
Limited men have.
Oh, I'll tell you why. Because this is another reason why older women are less desirable than younger, because older women have been single or that have been single for a long time. Like, life is tough. Let's be honest. Life is tough either way. Both men and women go through BS in their lives, but the main differences between men and women is men are built and born to withstand trauma. Men's lives are hard from the day they're born. Women are not built for it. Women are not used to going through hardships and dealing with BS. They're used to getting whatever the hell they want
We
from the
go through a
time they're
lot
even
more
able
than
to
you guys
walk.
do.
Let me finish here. But the point is that for women to have to survive, especially as a single woman into your 20s and 30s and 40s, as your looks deteriorate, you've got to make money to fend for yourself. You've got to learn how to pay bills. You've got to learn how to get that promotion at work. You've got to do all of these things. You've got to go and jump through these hoops. And those things that you do, competing for that stuff at work, competing with other girls out there to get the attention of higher value men, it takes its toll. And so it beats them down. And so women stop being soft. They stop being feminine. They become hard because they've had to be faced with the nature of the world, which is a rough and nasty place. And they don't generally act very feminine at that point. A woman that's single past 30 couple is a walking red flag, in my opinion.
Not only that, but it's also women still want a man who's making more money, is still providing. Even if she goes out and becomes a millionaire, by her doing that, she is now just reducing the dating market for herself. There's less men in the world who are making more money than her. So as she climbs that ladder, she's actually reducing the amount of options she has.
True.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, go.
Go ahead, Hannah.
belly go.
You're just giving yourself a hard life. Like if you're, you want to go out and be an independent, successful boss lady, like you're just giving yourself a hard life.
Yep. What?
Wait, so women aren't allowed to have money and be successful is what I'm hearing.
That would make
No
it
one's
a harder
saying that.
life.
Yeah,
that's
Be
the thing.
successful on your own.
No one's
No.
saying any
comfortable
of
on your
that.
own.
No, but that's like
See,
literally
it's all
that
about
you guys have been saying is that
choices.
like the dating pool is getting smaller and smaller. The more money you make as a woman, the more degrees you
Yeah.
have,
It
you're
is.
less desirable
It
to
is.
men.
That's
That's
wrong.
right.
No. Hold on. That's not what we said. Well, first of all, that's partially true, but that's not the whole point.
Not what you said, but
Women, well, hold on, because I'll clarify. Women generally want to be with men that are better than them. Women like going after guys that make more money, that are more highly skilled, that have more degrees, that are smarter
have
than them. Women
value.
generally, women generally date across the socioeconomic scale and up. They very rarely, if ever, date down. So the more money you make, the more educated you become, the more letters you put after your name, you're going to continue to look for a guy that's higher than you. And the more you climb that ladder, your pool of available men shrinks smaller and smaller and smaller. And then you're wondering where'd all the good men go. You passed them. You're no longer interested in them. If you didn't go and get $400,000 a year career or $150,000 or whatever it is, or you didn't chase the bag and chase all of these degrees, you would absolutely find a guy that makes $85K a year working at the bank, a perfectly suitable guy to be with. But because you've passed him socioeconomically, he's now become invisible to you. That's
Wait,
what it boils down to. It's women's own choices that's making them that are pricing them out of the market.
Moff, I have a question for you, and this is a complete
Sure.
hypothetical. And if you don't feel comfortable answering it, that's totally fine. But this is just
Hit me.
hypothetical that I hear constantly. Okay, I don't know anything about you. I literally got a DM and everything, so like I don't know anything about you guys. But if, let's say hypothetically, you had a daughter who wanted to go to college and she wanted to get her bachelor's and then go back for her master's or whatever, how would you feel about her getting all these degrees? But then in the back of your mind, you're worried that maybe she might not land a man one day because she was too focused on getting these degrees and the education aspect and making money rather than trying to settle down.
It wouldn't be in the back of my mind. It'd be in the front of my mind. I mean, we would have had that conversation way before that. Because no one else is having no one's having this conversation with women. The idea that women are being like, oh, go do you, girl. Don't depend on a man. Go make all your money. Go be the boss babe. Go do all this. It's feminism being beaten into women's head, and they don't know any better. It's not their fault. They're being brainwashed. Yeah. So it's this idea where look, I'm all about free choice. I've always said this. If I say, listen, if you want to get married, if you want to have a family, if you want to give yourself the best possible shot at this, here's the things that you should do. If you want to go make money and go be a career woman and all that kind of stuff, you're a free person. I can't keep you locked up in a house and that's go fun. But you have to understand the reality of what's most likely to happen to you if you choose to go down that road. See, the problem is no one's having that conversation with women. They're telling women you can have it all. You can go make the money, you can go to get the degrees, and then when you're done and when you're tired of screwing around in your 20s and you're through with your party and your drinking phase, and now you've got the CFO next to your name or whatever, now you can go find a man and they can't find one. Not because he doesn't exist, because they're invisible to her.
Right. Here's two things real quick, and then I will stop talking because I feel like
Hold on real quick. Keep that thought. I got to get the super chat. Ladies, remember this. A queen can't turn any man to a king, excluding her sons, but a king can turn any woman into the queen, including their daughters. Yeah, good point.
So it's two more things, and then again, I know I've been talking this whole time. Classic woman. First thing I want to say is, you're right. You're right. Giving the choice to your daughter or son or anyone in your life that you care and love about is totally important. However, getting a degree and focusing on your education, you're risking that, finding a husband, whatever, dating pool, whatever. But if you were to settle down early in your 20s, there's also a chance that you could lose your partner because they want to find someone younger than you, or they want to find something else, and then you're shit out of luck. You don't have a degree, you don't have a husband. What are you going to do? Move back in with your parents? I feel like at that point, your parents are going to be old and they need your help rather than you needing their help. I lost my other point.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up. You what? If you what them, they won't?
Be a good wife, then you won't lose them.
Right. That's not true at all.
Yes.
Can I interject? Sorry. Oh, Hannah,
go ahead.
Okay. Well, first off, I wasn't going to say this, but if you look at every single beautiful woman celebrity, they've been cheated on. So if you're a good enough wife, that's not still going to keep them. They have a wandering eye. So
Why
that
are
was
you
a great
assume that
point.
good-looking like celebrity women are good wives?
Okay, well,
That's a terrible
okay.
thing to be. I would
Right.
never date a girl that's
Well,
going to be
why
a
are we assuming
celebrity.
What
that
I'm
most
saying
men
is
are
like the
great
most
husbands and women
perfect,
are the
beautiful
issue?
women still get cheated on. Anyways, what if they don't get cheated on? What if their husband dies? Whatever. I liked the point that Hannah brought up. What if you're in a marriage, you're in a relationship, and then it goes wrong? Something happens. Either party. It could be the wife's problem, could be the husband's problem, whatever. You guys are splitting up. The woman has put all of her, youth or whatever into this man. Now she is without any money. She can't live on her own. She can't take care of herself because all she had was the husband. So then what? Should she just have nothing?
So marry a man that has contingency plans like an insurance policy.
Right.
Okay,
Or
but
just do good for
why?
yourself. Get a fucking degree. Make money.
Yeah, you
Stop
need
relying
something
on
for
a fucking man
yourself.
for everything.
Yeah,
But
you
you're gonna have a hard life.
Masculine
Don't
men
depend
will
on a
most
man.
people not left without anything. A
They
masculine
will
man
always
who values
Ileana,
you
your
as a
man
woman
could leave you
will
any day, and where are you going to be left with? With
with
what?
nothing.
With no
That's a
money.
very
ask
nasty
you to do
mindset.
anything on money.
Like, who would want to marry
See,
that?
this is hold on. See, this is the fear mongering that drives me crazy, because this is exactly the problem: is women that are putting insane narratives in the heads of other women, saying like,
You guys
"Well,
are
you
telling
better
women
not
to
rely
fear
on him at
We're
all
gonna
Oh,
lose
man.
because
value
he's
as
gonna
we
leave
age.
you.
Yeah, you're the fear
He's
one.
gonna leave you, and this and that." No,
He
when you're
is.
talking about being single
He
and you're
will let
talking
you
about being
down.
in the dating world, that's what we're talking about. We were talking about from a position of being single and trying to get a man's attention. Men who you give children to, men who you add value to, men who you remain useful to, those marriages or those relationships tend to work out and tend to stay together. That's really what it boils down to. I mean, you continue to find a way to be useful into your older age. You
Some
continue to
people
give him
want
kids as
more than
long as you
just,
can.
like,
You continue to help him and
service.
support his mission and support his purpose, because honestly, that's extremely hard to find. Men that are worth their salt, men that are out there conquering, that are running businesses, that are trying to put their dent in the universe, as we like to say, a woman that'll support that mission and support that purpose is 1 in a billion. I mean, it just doesn't really exist. So it's not, that's why I said at the beginning, and I said it, I'll say it again, that it's not the only thing, that beauty and attractiveness and youth is not the only thing that men care about when it comes to being in a relationship with the woman. It gets you on the playing field. It's the most important thing, at least at the start. But as men get older, I mean, their libido goes down and they get focused on other things. I mean, they still can have a high sex drive into their 50s and 60s, but most men will be perfectly content and satisfied with a woman that does the pink jobs, is supportive of the mission and the purpose, knows him like the back of her hand, and remains loyal and supportive and feminine and fit and fun and friendly. It's really not that difficult. Like, and here's even the data to back this up. 70% to 80% of all divorces are initiated by women. So women are the one leaving the men. It's not like men are the one turning around.
But wait,
so
hold on.
even if this fear you have is a potential reality, you have anywhere from a 80%, 70 to 80% chance of that not happening. It is a far better bet and a far better choice to get married or get in an LTR with the man and give him kids early, because the likelihood that he's going to leave you or divorce you is at its highest 20%, 2 out of 10, 1 out of 5. The odds are overwhelmingly in your favor.
Yep.
Well, the
I
odds,
agree.
if you want to talk about odds, it's like 90% or more. The people who abuse you, the people who rape you, are the people who know you the most. Your acquaintances, your family members, your partner. So
It's not
women
that
have
high,
to go
but I
through that.
understand. It's
It is
certainly not that
Look
high.
it up.
It's not 90%. No,
it
it's not. I know
is.
it's not that high. It's not.
Look it up. But anyways,
It's okay.
But it's very high. I can almost guarantee it's in the 90s. But anyways, it more likely your partner or somebody you know will do something like that to you. So that's putting women in a situation like that. So that's why a lot of them have to leave, okay? Because
Bella, you're
That's
putting
not
up,
what
you're
that stat,
throwing,
even if that stat's true,
maybe they're
that's not
being
what that
lied
stat
to.
means. That's
yeah,
not
you're
what that
throwing out
stat
bullshit
means.
statistics. You're saying if there's a
Spencer, what does
90%
it mean
chance
then?
that your partner is going to assault you,
No.
Even if, let's say, there's someone assaults you,
people
there's a
who
90% chance that person is someone that you know.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that someone that you know has a 90% chance of assaulting you. Most people that you know don't assault you.
Crazy.
No, okay, that's not exactly. It's backwards there.
You said the person you're with is likely going to do
let
this
me
to you.
let me redo
Yeah,
that.
please do.
So the person who has assaulted you, the assaulters, are more likely to be somebody you know. Like the person who does this, it's not a stranger. It's not more likely to be a stranger. I'm thinking the 90% that I'm thinking of is that it's 90% men who are the assaulters. Both are very high percentages, but either way.
No, it's not, Bella, because I have to stop you because
is.
that's not how.
These.
Hold on.
I'm a little frazzled today, but
that's not how statistics. That's not how statistics works. You're framing that 90% as if 90% of men are assaulters. That's not the case.
You look at the
Here's the deal.
assaulters, and then how many of the assaulters were men, not how many men are assaulters.
Then do the research on how many men. Then do the research there.
The women who are stuck in relationships who are getting
what
abused.
Percentage? What's that percentage?
I can't tell you. The
that's
amount
what's
of women
because that's
in
what
relationships
matters.
that
That's
are being
what's
abused?
important.
How
Because if you
about
don't have that statistic, then it's everything else you're going to say is
domestic violence
useless.
in police officer families? Like you look at
The
these
most
stats,
the relationship with the highest instances of domestic violence are lesbian relationships.
That's true. That is also true.
It's not the
I
men.
agree with you.
So the men aren't the problem. Maybe it's the women.
No, it's not. Lesbians and assault.
And statistics will show, and statistics actually show.
But they're not being killed at higher rates.
Statistics
they're just being abused.
actually show.
Domestic violence is
actually
just a fight.
show. I'm going to go ahead and put you on mute. Statistics actually show that men and women commit sexual assault at the same rates. It's not overwhelmingly men versus women. In relationships, men are just as likely to be assaulted as women. And you can take that one to the bank and you can look that one up.
No.
Ridiculous.
If
you're going to throw out statistics, at least know what you're talking about.
It's not the same likely. I think men can get assaulted. Nothing against that.
Men are just as likely to be assaulted as women are in relationships.
By men or by women? Because by far, the assaulters who are assaulting men too are also men.
In relationships.
In relationships, yes.
I don't think that's correct. But we can go ahead and move on.
But
that's the point. See, but you're throwing out these fear-mongering, nonsensical statistics about 90%.
And you feel unsafe, you should leave the relationship.
And no one's disputing that.
Let's do a hypothetical here. If you're in a relationship, it's bad. Both of you are fighting. One side is fighting. Doesn't matter. You guys should split up. You guys should leave. Now what?
Just if you're fighting? You're talking about fist fighting?
What I mean.
Or arguing or what?
So if
it's bad,
but if you're worrying about being abused, a man can protect you.
Right.
The men are the ones doing
you.
Like
who? He's stronger,
protect
right?
me from who? The men.
This is where I'm.
How did we get onto this abuse thing? I totally agree. If there is violence, get out of there. Seriously, get out of there if there's violence. But how did we get to this from men leaving you?
What if you have no money to get out?
I have a question for Hannah and for the ladies who believe that you have to have your own. So let's say that you make an X amount of money, your boyfriend makes an X amount of money, you both make the same amount of money, but he wants a prenup because you have your own. You will.
I'd be fine with that.
So you're okay.
I'm 22 years old and I live on my own. I pay my own bills. I just bought a new house completely on my own. So if you want your money at the end of the divorce, whatever, that's fine. I know that I make my own money. I'm okay with that.
I want my own money. I don't want him to touch my money.
You're supposed to have certain things for yourself already before a man finds you or before a man courts you because you're an adult. Now he's going to come and add into your life. And a masculine man, that's what he does. He adds onto you and he gives you more than you give him because that's the nature of what it is.
Ileana, I agree with you though. I agree with you. If you're in a committed relationship, you work as a team. I said that before, you work as a team. However, if that team breaks up and you guys are no longer together, I want to keep what's mine. I know that I can provide for myself because I was able to do it at a young age. So I know that I could do that in the future because I am continuing to develop myself educationally and I'm able to move forward. So if any, what do you mean, Moff? What?
No, I'm saying this is proving the point. They're proving the point that if things don't go right and you don't need to depend on a man, you can go make something of yourself. So if it doesn't work out, you'll still be fine. So this idea that if you depend on a man, you're screwing yourself over for life makes no sense. I mean, you're making
No,
the
I'm
point.
not screwing myself over for life. If I'm in a teamwork,
I
with
agree.
a man,
Well,
then
no,
yeah,
but you can do it without a man, you said. Because
It takes a little
because
bit
the
to build
prevailing
up your work,
sentiment,
like
the
wealth.
prevailing sentiment is that if you depend on a man, or if you depend on a man to bring home the bacon and take care, if it ends, then you're just not going to be taken care of and you're going to have nothing. That's not true. You can go and build yourself and you can go get a job.
It takes a second. You can't just immediately be handed rent money. You have
As
to
a
work
girl,
for a
you
little
can.
while.
All you got to do is turn a camera on and show some ass.
Actually,
really?
Actually, yeah, I guarantee you, if I put a fucking Venmo up.
Because that's all women are, right? Women can make money off their bodies, right? And
they
ruin
can. They
if
are.
I turned on a camera right now, and sold my body online, do you know what would happen to my career that I worked years to work on?
Yeah, you probably would get fired. Yeah.
Yeah, I would get fired. I would not be within 100 feet of a school, right? Because I worked years for that.
Okay. Yeah.
But
So you're making a decision based on
and
that.
I'm working with that man, and things go south, and we're no longer together. At least I have the security to know that I can support myself.
Good. I'm not arguing against that.
No, you're right. Like that's what I'm saying. So we agree.
Yeah,
right?
we're agreeing. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The point is, Bella is trying to say that the idea of getting with a man or settling down with a man when you're young is dumb, because on the off chance, let's even call it 20%. Then you said don't rely on a man. You said don't do it because it might not work out, and then you're screwed, and then you can't work.
All your eggs in one basket. Because those eggs will get ripped away from you when the basket goes and looks at another chick or fucking does anything. Men go and just want to move across the world if they want to. Like, you know, like you can't rely on them. You can't put all of your trust, especially when our youth is so valuable, as you're saying.
I gotta get this.
Moff, I have a question.
I gotta get this. Hold on, I gotta get the super chat. Everybody be quiet.
For a chick,
I gotta get the super chat.
Don't
Spencer.
do it when they have options.
I gotta get the super chat. Spencer.
Read it.
Bella, out of the 70 to 90% of divorces committed by women, the vast majority of them were caused not due to the abuse or adultery, but due to money, quote unquote, happiness or illness, which are traditionally illegitimate reasons. So yeah, I mean, women are leaving men all the time.
Happy.
How much of the abuse was
because
reported,
that's
though?
all you need, right? Like just be happy. Because your whole purpose on earth, because of your whole reason to live, you should just always be happy all of the time. And you're just afforded that luxury. And you should never be sad, never be upset, never be in any sort of, you should never, ever, ever, you should be completely insulated from any other emotion that's not happiness. That's an extremely adult way to look at the world.
Unhappiness to your life. Your partner should be adding good things, positive vibes, you know, happiness. You're not going to be happy all the time. Okay,
Moff,
of course. Erin,
but
please.
Your partner shouldn't
I
add
have a question. Oh, sorry.
Please
sorry to interrupt you, Bella.
No, don't be sorry.
I just have a little question that
Please.
You had said something that I've been thinking about. You value, freedom of choice.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. Wouldn't you say that with things like education or a well-paying job, those assets would give someone freedom to make better decisions for themselves?
I'm not
Do you know
quite
what I
grasping
mean?
what you're asking. Not quite.
Like,
try again.
So you don't think that women should have like these like their degrees or their higher paying jobs or whatever, but those things give them freedom in life, like extra money to make better decisions for themselves. Do you know what I mean? So if they didn't have that, if they didn't have those.
Look, women, we know women spend money on dumb stuff.
Stupid shit.
77, hold on. Women carry the most student debt. Women account for 72 to 73% of all consumer spending. I mean, women are like, credit card companies love women because they don't pay off their debts. They don't do it.
But it's
all they do.
it's
For the most part, women are not good with money. I mean, I wish Rich Cooper was here because the guy ran a debt settlement company. The guy ran a debt settlement company for 20 years, and they never paid back their money. He loved he hated having women clients or women people because they would never call or they would never answer their phones and they would never pay their debts.
See, this is that broad generalization thing. Like all women are this way, all women are that way. I just don't.
Generalization makes sense.
Well,
but to answer your question, let me go back and actually answer the question.
Please.
Like I said, again, I've said women are free to make their own choices as long as they know the probabilities of what could possibly happen due to those choices. I'm all fine with it. You want to go make a bunch of money? Go make a bunch of money. You want to go get 12 master's degrees? Go get 12 master's degrees. But don't come crying to me when you're 40 and a man doesn't want you because he doesn't make enough, like no men on the planet make enough money, and you want a quad millionaire, a guy that makes $5 million, $10 million a year and drives a fucking Lamborghini because you know your worth because you've gone to school and you've gotten all these accolades and made all this money. And that's what's happening to a lot of these women. We've had women on the show that have said, we've had women on this show that are saying, I wish somebody sat me down and had these conversations with me because I got the house, I got the Tesla, I got the degrees, I got the accolades, and I'm single and I'm 50 and I'm looking around at all my friends with grandkids and I'm a lonely old spinster.
Wait, okay. First off, where are you finding the people that come on this podcast? Instagram.
All over the place.
Right?
Random.
All over.
You DM me on Instagram.
All over the world.
I'm feeling that way, the way Moff described. Like I'm a manager of an accounting firm. Like I have a house, I have a car, like I have a great career. So, yeah, like
but women spend their money on hair, nails, clothing, right?
Yeah, dumb shit.
Yep.
Dumb shit, right? But you have your own apartment, you have your own car. So how are you not disagreeing with him?
I'm saying it's frustrating because now I can't meet a man because every man I meet like makes way less money than me, and it's just not attractive.
That's their fault, not yours.
So I have a question for Hannah F. So would you be willing to, if you met a masculine man who met all of your, let's say your top 5, right? But he wasn't making as much, would you be okay with that? As long as he treated you well, he provided for what he could, right? You wouldn't. Because then you would have to live a different type of life.
Because like I have my standard of living, so like a guy needs to add value, not like decrease value of my life.
Yeah. And that's
I want to fit it really quick. I want to finish answering Erin's question because I don't think I quite got it. I didn't finish the exact point that I wanted to make, and then I'll turn it back over. But the things that money will give you freedom to do, like travel, acquire things, even like, or whatever it is, whatever it is you want to choose to spend this money on, or this additional freedom that you think it gets, none of those things, being more well-traveled, learning more, reading more books, having more degrees that you can pay tuition to get, none of those things make you more attractive to men.
That's not the kind of man I want.
If what you're spending money on is a gym membership and things that enhance your beauty and your attributes, then fine. That's all fine, well and good. But just like, I don't even like a girl that's well-traveled. You know what girls do when they travel solo? They get laid a lot. So, I mean, it's the case. Like, women are never single.
I've traveled to many different countries, and I've never slept with anybody in another country.
Yeah,
that's all right. You can lie on the podcast.
We don't have to get into all that right now.
Podcast is allowed.
I'm not lying.
Just so everyone knows, lying on the podcast is allowed, as Bella just exhibited. So that's the thing. So
I'm not lying, actually.
These things that they think this is the problem that a lot of women face. I'm not saying it's inherent within them, but they're being lied to.
Statistically, how many women travel and get laid while they're solo traveling?
A lot.
That's not a statistic. That's not a true fact.
Anecdotal evidence. So
before we go down that, I want to say my point.
Let me just wrap this up. What I'm trying to make, the point is that these things that make you more attractive to men, or these things like traveling or reading, or these, like, men don't care. Men are simple. And the fact that women want to fight us tooth and nail by saying, well, that's not what you should be attracted to. That's not the world we live in.
That doesn't answer my question.
What's your question then?
Statistically, how many?
Well, I was answering Erin's question.
Solo
And I don't have
before
a statistic.
before
I'm
that.
sorry. I don't have a. I was answering Aaron's question. I don't have a statistic because
Come on,
women
come on.
generally, women don't like. First of all, women don't like to tell lies about them. They don't like to tell the truth on themselves. That makes them look unflattering. Women underreport the number of sexual
Statistically, how many
partners they
women
have
lie
all the
about their
time.
truths?
So do men.
Do you understand how we can never find an answer to that
Yes,
question? It's
because
an
we
ever
can't-
reduced,
right.
nonsensical question. It's
We
called
can't
circular
find an
reasoning and
answer.
circular logic.
We can't find an answer, so we should not be using that as an argument. That women
No, what?
who travel solo get laid more. Men are simple creatures because they do
I didn't
X,
even
Y,
say
and Z.
that.
I
Men are
personally
simple
have never
creatures. I
been
mean, what are you
outside of
talking
college.
about? What was the
And
question? I'm
that's one
sorry.
of the things. That's one of the things that attracted my fiance to me was because he gets to teach me and show me the world, and I get to travel with him, and I get to do things with him. And before I met him, I
It's
was paying
great.
on
It's one of the best
all of my
parts
bills.
about
I
being
did
with a
all of
girl
my
that hasn't
bills.
seen much. You get to give her those
I did.
gifts.
Yeah, I did everything for myself. And a
agree.
masculine man really truly comes into your life, and he literally pours onto you, and all you have to do is being your most feminine. I have my own money. I make my own money, and my money goes to, like Mr. Moff said, my nails, my hair,
And good for you.
Amazon things. But all of my bills are taken care of because he prioritizes my well-being, and anything that I make, he's teaching me how to invest, and I'm doing so much because I
Good.
trust him.
Good.
And I have a 17-year-old stepdaughter who is an amazing young woman. She's currently trying to study in Africa, and she wants to be very independent in a way where she wants to learn life, but she's also being groomed to become a wife. And she understands that she needs a man for the things that she doesn't want to deal with. She doesn't want to deal with stress. She wants to build a career, but the moment she meets, and she believes in monogamy, the moment that she meets, her future husband, she's like, I want to step down, and I want to let him lead, and I want to be in my feminine, and I want to be a mom, and I want to do this. So there's nothing wrong with a woman having an amazing, beautiful career, but can you step into your feminine when you find your counterpart and allow him to lead you without feeling like you have to be equal to him?
Well, here's the thing. How you need to be
Hannah, hold that thought really quick. Hold on. I got to get these super chats. Ladies, I would highly recommend reading the story of Nora Vincent after the show. Great point. Other women of history I'd recommend looking up is Florence Nightingale, Queen Victoria, Michelle Mouton, who are all great women of history. Gin and Tonic says, Bella and Hannah think they are going to choose a man who wants an equal partner with a degree. They're going to be really disappointed. Also, everyone is required to refer to me as Mr. Ma from here on out. So I really like that. Thank you. Sorry.
Hilarious. I love
Hannah
that.
Squared. Hannah Squared. Go ahead.
My only thing is if I had a daughter, I would want her to learn these skills first on her own before having somebody else who is not direct blood family teaching her these things. So if I had a daughter, I want her to know how to pay her own bills, how to do her own taxes, how to do all that stuff on her own. And I'm glad that your stepdaughter is wanting to do all these things. And honestly, that's like,
yeah, but they're not. Why are they mutually exclusive, right? Like, why are the two options learning how to do things and being in a relationship? Like, why can't you do both? Like, why can't you be in a relationship with this guy and you can? Yeah. No one's saying you can't, but the dichotomy or the false dichotomy that's being presented here is that if you're in a relationship, you're depending on a man and you're just sitting around all day thinking about rainbows and butterflies and dancing sugar plums, and you're not studying, you're not learning how to balance I was going to say balance a checkbook. What an old-fashioned sentence. But you're not learning about how to make money. You're not learning how money and debt works. You can do all of that. No one's stopping you from doing it. So I don't know why we're perpetuating this false narrative that it's one or the other.
Yeah,
Why?
It's not that black and white. It's not like it's you do one or you do the other. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a job, you shouldn't know how to do your taxes, you shouldn't know how to do these things, but understand that the more money you make, the more you climb that ladder, the more you reduce the size of the dating market, the less men there are that you will want to date. The same way that if a guy spends more time playing PlayStation, more time eating pizza, less time in the gym, there's less women who want to date him.
Well, Miss Hannah F said that she feels like she can't find a suitable man. And I love her perspective, and I respect Miss Hannah F for saying, I'm even having trouble and I'm this amazing career woman, but I don't want some of the men that would probably want me because I have a certain type of lifestyle that I want to maintain, and I'm stuck. And she seems like a lovely wife. Like she would wake up at 3 a.m. and cook some breakfast because her husband has a meeting at 5. Like, and I think that that's a beautiful thing. But I love the accountability and the honesty that she's bringing, because she's the perfect example, with all due respect, of I'm a career woman. I'm making an X amount of money, and I'm a wife, because wife is a state of mind. Wife is not just a marital status. You need to be a wife before you get married, because that's just what it is. And she is one, but she's having trouble finding a suitable partner because where she put herself in, currently. And I respect her.
I don't think that men these days only want a wife. I think they want more than that. I think that if they see a woman who's going to cook and be there for them and dote on them and do all these services for them, they're still not going to be guaranteed to be like, oh, this is the one. They want somebody with spice, whatever that means for them. They want somebody who's pretty, attractive, whatever. They want more than just wifely behaviors. So these women who are just being wife, that's not what men want. Enough.
Is being attractive a burden? Is trying to stay attractive for your husband so much work that you can't do it?
Okay, but even in
can
that
you
sentence,
not juggle? Hold on, like Spence, like can you not juggle some basic, like, because when did 1800s peasant work become hard labor? When did doing dishes and doing laundry become the equivalent of working in a coal mines? I have done it myself. I've done it plenty. I don't like to do it. Since when I was single all the time in my 20s. Like the point that I'm trying to make here, is this idea that I had something, and oh man, give me a second.
It's okay. Bella, even
Spencer,
in your
you go
own
ahead
sentence,
while I get my composure.
You said, Bella, even in your own sentence, you said men want a woman with spice who's attractive, not a woman who has $1 million and a master's degree.
Yeah, so I don't think that men are seeking out women who are successful with money unless they are themselves. Yeah. Unless they are themselves because they are insecure. They don't want, like, just like you say, women go for women or men who are equal or above, right? Men go for equal or below. So they're not going to go.
That's not how it works. See, that's not how it works. That's generally not how it works, because hypergamy is a female thing. The idea that women are dating across and up is a specific to female mating strategy thing. Men are attracted to women that are beautiful and that are soft, that are feminine, that are pleasant. That's really what it boils down to. No, not either of those things.
But I still pull.
Yeah, because you're good looking. Congratulations. Like there's a billion good-looking women on the planet. Like who gives a shit? Some dumbass will put up with you. That doesn't mean that it's going to last you forever. And let's get one thing straight. I don't understand. Like women are perfectly acceptable, or it's perfectly acceptable to go work a job, most likely for a male CEO, a man boss, and slave away all day long, saying that's better than working a job at home or having your husband be your boss, when your CEO boss doesn't take care of the house that you live in. He doesn't provide food. He doesn't provide shelter. He's not going to protect you if a burglar breaks in. And you're just as easily can get fired from a job and be out on the street without any money coming in as you would. I mean, you're not for a guy that breaks up with you.
Fire you for no reason.
Yes, maybe not in Canada. I don't know where you live, but it's called at-will employment. I don't know if you've got a job here in the United States, but most companies are at-will employment, which means written into your employment agreement or employment contract means you can be fired at any time without notice, without cause, and for any reason they deem acceptable, until you can prove that it's discrimination otherwise. Millions of people are at-will employees. You can be dropped like that. So why is that a better option than going and being somebody that's working for your husband, giving him children, making his house a home, making his mission in life supported? Why is that a worse option than lining the pockets of a guy that doesn't give a shit about you?
So we talked a bunch about girly purchases, right? So say you got a super wife. She's perfect wife. She's young and she's wifely. She wants to buy all her girly purchases. What if she wants to buy 20 purses and all her makeup? Do you just give her the money? She doesn't have her own money. She's never worked. You wifed her up too early. So do you hand her all the money she desires?
Do I give her all the money she wants? No, I
Yeah.
determine whether
If
it's
she
a
wants to buy a
suit.
purchase,
I
she should be able to
determine.
have her
I
own money to do
determine.
so, right? If she
I
doesn't have her own
determine
money, are
as the
you going to
leader in
make
the
her happy?
household. As the leader in the household, I determine what is a good use of the money that I make and what is not.
But you don't get, like, what if she wants, you know, a specific concealer? You're not going to understand that that's important.
We have to check
It's
in.
important to her.
It's important to learn how to say no. But you didn't say that. See, you went from 20 bags to a specific concealer. We're not even arguing the
girls
same thing
want
here.
specific
You're talking
things.
about
Maybe she
you went
wants
from
a
but you were
purchase
framing it as
with
a
her own money.
superfluous. You're saying at first you were talking about it as if it's a superfluous purchase, and now it's something that is specific that she needs to have. There's a
Well,
difference
she's
between
not going to die
her
without a
buying
concealer,
20
right?
bags. Yeah, but
She
like
can
what's
go
concealer?
get
$100
her
bucks?
But she
$100
wants.
bucks? I don't know what concealer costs.
See,
$200
Lydia,
bucks?
you have no clue.
30
Not a
bucks.
clue.
So okay,
That would be a
30.
nice one. That would be a
Fine.
really nice.
So 30 versus whatever 20 bags cost. Like, yeah, I'm going to take into consideration and account the cost and the opportunity of cost of what she's trying to buy.
But why
Any
can't she
smart,
just buy whatever
financially
she wants to
conscious person
buy?
would be.
Yeah, I think
What?
every
A counter
situation's-
I guess kind of back you up, Mr. Moff. A man can buy 20 bags if you play your role in his life and allow him to go work those 90 hours so that, or however many hours, so he can provide. Play your
Send
role
him to work.
correctly, and then he can give it to you.
And
I
I'm sorry,
agree.
I
We
didn't
should have
realize you were
slave
raising your hand. I
husbands.
thought you were covering
Oh, yeah,
the camera.
sorry.
Did you want to say
No.
something?
Ignore me.
Okay.
Okay.
Ileana, please continue.
Oh, so yes, a man can be capable, and a masculine man is more than willing to do what he can for the right specific woman, but you also need to allow him to do what he needs to do in order to provide. But I also agree, just because he can doesn't mean he should.
And she can make a case. And she's like, hey, I really need this concealer. My skin doesn't work otherwise. It's really the only thing that works for me. It's the only thing I've ever found that doesn't give me breakouts. Okay, fine. Yeah, fine. 30, like, okay, cool. But she's like, I really want this bag. I know that I have 12 others just like it, but I really, really like this one because it's the new one. Like, yeah, fuck off. No. Use one of the other 14 ones you got. Like, so this is like men don't have the confidence and the ability to run their household and to run their women like they should. Too many guys are afraid of telling a little girl no because she wants to throw a hissy fit. Bella, I
I think
guarantee
men
you
should
get
run
every
their-
single
or I
thing
think
you
women
want
should
in
run
your
their men.
relationship. Yeah, I know, and that's
Women
why.
should run the men.
How so? How
Because-
does that even work?
Because men are service creatures. You guys are soldiers. You're meant to follow orders. Women are not meant to follow orders. We
What's
are
a
the
great
leaders
thing that
of the
what's
family.
a single great
Because
thing
we
or great
create
structure that a woman
everything.
has built?
We have the control. We have the
How
control.
many buildings?
Over the
How many
man.
buildings
We
were
have the
built by
control over
women?
the-
How many
the
sewer
children.
systems? How many buildings were built by
Sewer.
women? How many sewer systems? What percentage of the infrastructure that keeps your lights on, your water running, and your toilet flushing was built by women? Go.
Who invented Wi-Fi? A woman.
Do you understand that you can't answer
That's
the
what we're on
question?
right
What?
now. Look it up.
Without electricity, you wouldn't even have Wi-Fi. Who
actually went out and built the
who created
physical
the light bulb?
infrastructure?
Who built the house that you live in? Who
Yeah,
built the
because you
sewer
guys are
system
service
that you
creatures.
rely
I'm not
on?
going to do the heavy lifting.
That's
I'm the
building.
queen. We send the peasants, the men, to do the work. That's
But
how it works,
equality
right?
doesn't work that way. A lot of modernized
just trolling at this point.
want
She knows what
equality,
she's
but
doing.
only when it benefits them.
She's trolling.
Well,
It's
it's
okay.
not equal.
Hannah, are you raising your hand?
I have a question that's kind of off topic.
Yeah, please. We need to get off this topic.
Go ahead.
Well, okay, two questions. One, can we change the topic? Two, can I listen?
Go
Can I
ahead.
invite my roommate to the chat?
Yeah, if they've got a separate room and a separate computer or phone, yeah. We just don't want them in the
Well,
same
I-
room because we can't see them.
I have okay.
Hi.
Can she
Or
join
she,
from
yeah,
me?
she wants to just
yeah,
come
we
on
didn't know
camera.
she was
can
there,
come
like,
on
how
I
long
camera.
will
have you
shut
been
up. I will shut up. I
eavesdropping?
swear to God, and she can talk.
Well, can you both sit back so it's more like a wide shot so we can
Yeah,
both see you? Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. Hi.
What's
my name's
Hannah? Lindsay?
Yes, my name's Lindsay.
Alright.
I just
gonna
want.
edit
I've been
something
sitting
real
here
quick.
like the whole 2 hours, so I've kind of gotten the gist of this. I just want to
That's
say.
so creepy. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, she's in my room, so.
Wow.
Anyway.
Hannah, you can't even get your own room. I thought you paid all your bills and you were
No,
like Miss
stop.
Independent
My
Woman.
dog's
You don't
my
have your own
room. I
room.
need to put my dog down.
All right.
Like, the dog's
Lindsay,
my-
please.
Okay, so I've been listening to the whole conversation. I just want to say, like, we've been talking hypotheticals a lot about like women and men and their roles in relationships. I wanted to kind of talk about something that's like not hypothetical and like actually like my family situation. So my dad and my mom So they were married 23 years ish. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, raised us, did everything, took us to sports, cooked, cleaned, all that, laundry, anything you can imagine what would make someone a good wife. And then after 20 some years, my dad cheated on her with someone who has a high paying job because she showed like the ambition that my mom didn't have. And he kind of chased someone who was younger, 10 years younger, that had that ambition and had that high paying job because that's what he valued. And now my mom is shit out of luck. She's 55. As you said, like women, I guess, kind of lose value as they age, which I guess I've kind of seen a little bit just because of how like men chase after younger women. And so now she's shit out of luck, relying on his payments for child support, all that fun stuff. Doesn't have her own job, has a degree in journalism that she hasn't used in 20 years because she quit her job to raise us. So now she's stuck relying on him for however long, doesn't have a career because journalism's kind of dying because she worked in magazines. So magazines are kind of dead. So that's a very real reality of what happens if you solely depend on a man. Just wanted to put that out there.
A lot of women quit their jobs for their kids and then they can't go back to it.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to
curious
respond
there.
to
You
that.
said he cheated. Who called for the divorce?
He just kind of started dating the woman. So they're still dating now. It's been like 4 years. They are still dating. He kind of was like wishy-washy about like, do we need a divorce yet? Like, do I really want her? Do I want my mom? Like, whatever. Eventually, it was him.
Whore.
I know. Yeah.
Well, my guess is I would venture to suspect that the reason he got with this woman is not because of the money that she was making. That's a lie that he told to soften the blow to your mom, because you said 10 years younger, which means if he's going by youth and beauty, he maybe found her attractive and he didn't want to hurt her feelings and say like, hey, you're getting old, putting you out to pasture, and yeah, it's going to be the end of it. So my guess is he would use the money thing, like, oh, she's ambitious. That's just an excuse of saying like she's younger, hotter, tighter, or whatever it is. Because men are very simple. Like men we just don't care about money you make. I think it's
No
an excuse.
thoughts in the brain, basically.
Two, I would say, what's that?
No thoughts in the brain, basically.
What do you mean no
Simple
thoughts on the brain?
creatures. Like men are simple creatures. You don't think like it's like boobs, baby. I need to make money. I make
So
Yeah.
That's it.
the
That's
next
all I
thing
got.
I would say is that this is the whole reason that alimony and child support exist. It could be a lot worse. You could be not getting anything. You could be getting no money. You could be having to be out on the streets. I mean, look, I don't know your personal situation. I have no idea. Like the job market may be tough. I don't know if retail is an option. I really have no idea. But it's one of those things where, yes, the reality is life is hard and sometimes bad things can happen. The possibility of something happening should not outweigh the probability, and you're making the decision on whether the probability is not the possibility. Because if you live your life based on the possibility of something happening, then you're just going to be balled up in your room and you're not going to experience life at all. You've got to live your life on the balance of probabilities of what most likely will happen, because that's, in my opinion, the best way to go through it. So I empathize with your situation, but to that point, I mean, I don't know what the amount of money is. And again, I'm not saying this can't happen, but I'm saying, on generally speaking, your situation falls into the minority. It doesn't fall into the majority. It doesn't make it any less real or valid, but using this as a tale, or using something an exception, or something that's in the minority to dissuade women from marrying men, or trying to use this and justify and say it's the rule, I just simply don't agree.
Okay, I have two things on that. So
Sure.
First thing was the money. Yes, could definitely be worse. However, that is why having your own set path in life is so important, because what if we didn't have that money? Like, what if my dad was worse off than he is right now, and then she's fucked? Like, I think that's why it's so important to have your own degree, have your own education, have your own source of income. So if something like that happens, you're not like shit out of luck. And also, I think, what was the other point?
Look, I'm not saying just sit at home all day and be lazy. Really quick, like, I want to be really clear. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having a job, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being able to have a modest income. I'm talking about where women start to get themselves in trouble is when they start climbing the hierarchies of the corporate ladder. They start going back and getting their master's degrees, and they're going and getting doctorates, and they're going and chasing extremely high paying and extremely above the shoulders domineering type of jobs and careers that ultimately make them hard, not soft, what makes it very difficult to find a man to settle down with because she makes too much money and she's too educated and her pool has gotten smaller. I'm not saying that women should get married and then fully forgo any, again, but this goes back to the point we said earlier. It's like how their marriage lasted however long, 25, 35 years, you said. During that 35 years, what's stopping her from learning skills? What's stopping her from learning how to trade financially? What's stopping her from learning how to invest in the stock market? There's absolutely nothing. So
yeah, exactly.
We're not talking. It's this false dichotomy of if you get married, you'll be fully dependent on a man and you'll just be a hapless idiot versus get married when you're young, when your value is high, to a man that is going to most likely take care of you, but hedge your bets, learn how money works, learn how to leverage debt, learn how to keep some own money and keep your own rainy day fund. I'm totally fine with that for situations like this.
I agree with that. But I think what I've been hearing you guys say for the past few hours is a woman's sole purpose is the kitchen, the house, all that fun stuff. Being a wife didn't mean learning money, learning all that fun stuff that you just kind of mentioned. So
it's secondary. It's not the first thing. Yeah. But like, you better not be going and learning. I'm not taking online classes if the dishes aren't done, the laundry's not done, my house isn't clean, like the food's not made. Yeah. That should come fourth or fifth, sixth on the priority list, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. Right, your primary job and your primary idea is the pink jobs because I'm taking care of making the money. I don't need you learning how to make money. I'm already doing that. And plus, like any guy worth his salt, like I said, he'd find a way if he's going to divorce. Like he's already doing it. He's bound by law to continue to take care of your mom. I mean, it's not like, even if you didn't get married, I think a guy that's honorable would still find a way to make sure she's taken care of. Maybe he's not an honorable guy. I mean, clearly if he's cheating, but this idea that women that when they get divorced, they're these hapless, helpless creatures. It's just not the reality. And it's hard to say this because I know how close this is to you. It's your life. It's your family. And so you're right there close to it. But I'm talking about things on a grander scale. I'm talking about things in the majority and the probability of what's most likely to happen, not what's less likely to happen.
That is true. That's what I was going to touch on with the majority thing. Obviously my situation is not the majority. However, a lot more than you would think, people get in relationships and then the husband cheats because they have all this power over a woman just because they make the bread, they make all that.
That's generally not why men cheat in relationships, though. Men generally cheat in relationships because they're not getting laid by their wives, because their wives either get fat or they stop paying attention to them, they lose interest in sex, and now they're just a plow horse and they have no intimacy for their wives. So of course they're going to run off. They are bound by marriage, by this contract, to only have sex and sleep with one person for the rest of their lives, and they're not getting it. And there's no law that says you must submit and give sex to your husband. That's not part of the marriage contract. That's why men cheat for the most part. This idea, this idea that these powerful men are just running off with their secretaries, it's not the case. It's just not happening on these, like the way people are saying that it is. And that's the narrative that I'm trying to kill here, is that these ideas of the worst possible scenario being the most likely is just untrue. Let me get this super chat really quick. I don't want to get you to chime in. Ladies, seriously, a beautiful woman radiates grace, warmth, and loyalty. Her strength lies in her femininity, bringing peace and inspiration to man's life, complimenting and uplifting him while staying grounded in empathy and emotional intelligence. A lot of words there, but I pretty much agree with all that sort of stuff. So again, that's all I'm trying to say here. It's like, I know it's hard because it's your situation and you're super close to it and it's what you see, but this idea that these just swaths of men, do you ladies realize that most men, 80% plus of men, are absolutely invisible to you because they're unattractive and you don't see them?
Yeah.
Yes, Bella realizes, you all know.
Facts.
So to sit here and say men are these two-timing, womanizing guys who are making all this money, and it's like the show Mad Men, clink, clink, making a drink while I'm doing business deals. That's not, you're talking about 10 to 15% of all men. All men this, all men that. No, you're only talking about the men that you know of, that you can see, that aren't invisible. You're not talking about the fat dude in his mom's basement eating Cheetos, makes $40,000 a year. You're not even talking about you're not even talking about the plumber, the construction worker that gets up every day at 4 o'clock to go pound and hammer nails
cheating on her wife
for $20 an hour, who hasn't gotten laid in 2 years because women don't even look at him. This is, and that's the whole issue with this all men narrative. When we say most women, we're actually talking about most women. When you all say most men, you're only talking about the small percent of men that even exist to you. Most of them are absolutely invisible and have no chance.
I have one more thing to say and then I'll leave. Sorry, Anna. So you guys are talking about like getting the degrees and stuff like that makes you less valuable and stuff like that. I'm actually getting my doctorate, starting school to get my doctorate for physical therapy next August. And I've been with the same guy for over 4 years now. I don't expect him to go off and get a doctorate. That's just kind of not my mentality. Maybe most women are different. I'm not really sure. I don't think I'm an exception. I think.
How old are you, Lindsay?
22.
How old's your boyfriend?
He's also 22.
So you guys haven't actually gone out into the working world yet. See, things change. It's not just about degrees. Things change once money comes into the situation. It's very common. One of the most common reasons that women actually leave relationships is when money changes. So I mean, you come out of the gate and he makes at a very respectable average salary of 35, 40,000 for an entry-level job. You're coming out as a PhD candidate. You probably make 3 times that. Maybe not the first year, second, and I may be completely wrong, and you guys may get married and be together forever. That's totally fine, and more power to you if that's what happens. But you're still 22. I mean, you still live in. You're not on your own. You're not seeing the salary. You're not seeing the money. You're not seeing the lifestyle that you'll be able to afford. Plenty of women have been in love with their guy and looked up to him. He's so amazing. He makes the money. He brings home the bacon. I listen to him and I submit to him because he's in control of the finances. They get a big promotion at work or they get hired for something different. And now they can do whatever the hell they want. What do they need this guy for? Well, this guy's telling me I can't spend my own money. What the hell is that? I make more money than him. This guy's going to boss me around. That's the reason I ask those questions. I'm not trying to instill fear. I'm not trying to put doom and gloom on your potential relationship. I hope it works out. But I've been around the block for a long time. I've done a lot of these shows. I've met a lot of women. I've met a lot of men. I've got a community of 500 plus guys that came to us generally because they thought they found the woman that was down for them and they thought they found the chick that was their ride or die. And then somewhere along the line, she changed her mind or it just didn't work out. And these are good, solid, honorable guys that didn't cheat. They just ran into a buzzsaw because they didn't understand female nature. So
yeah, that's interesting. I haven't like.
Yeah, I wish you nothing but the best. I'm just living in reality.
Yeah, I just.
We're not saying that you're less valuable because you have a degree. Like having the degree doesn't make you less valuable.
Right.
It's spending all your 20s focusing on getting that degree and not caring about things that I care about. Like, do you have dinner on the table? Like that's one of the things that I care about is like. So I don't care about
Mommy, I need dinner.
Did you spend 10 years getting this degree and this awesome job that's going to bring home the bacon? Because like that's the same thing I'm doing.
Learn to cook, Spencer. Look up a couple videos.
We're busy. We got money to make. We got stuff to do. We got businesses to run.
Believe
That's
it or
the whole
not,
point.
I know how to cook.
I wanted to jump
that
on
skill
it.
and continue to work on it. Compound that skill. Get better and better and better and better at it. I'm telling you, it's easy to keep a guy. It's easy to keep a guy. Keep the house clean. Keep food on the table. Be pleasant to be around. It's really simple. For whatever reason,
I
Bella,
wanted
you
to
seem to
jump
not
on
like to do that.
was saying earlier about when you were saying that we're not saying that being a housewife is just that. Personally, I'm 1,000% taken care of. I do earn my own money, and I recently decided that I wanted to go back to school. And my fiance said, well, why, we had a conversation because I came to him with this thought of, oh, I have so much time. What can I do? Right. And I came to him and I said, well, I'm thinking about maybe just taking a few classes. And what do you think? Yeah. And he completely supports me. He helped me pick my classes. He helped me, but not because he wants me to go back to school to go. And he asked me, do you want to go build a career or what is your purpose? And I simply just want to take a few classes, maybe get better on my sign language and do all those things. But he's encouraging, and any man who truly wants to see you thrive will give you all these tools and will support you as long as what Mr. Moff said is not coming in between my housework. And it's not like I'm a slave or anything, but my house is my priority. But I still have, and I don't have to answer to my husband as to, oh, well, may I go to the store? No, it's, hey, I'm just going to go to the store really quick.
Yeah.
And things. But I think a lot of modernized women are thinking that answering to a man means that you can't think for yourself. I think for myself. I have my own thoughts. I have my own things that I come to him with, but I never tell him this is how it should be done. Because a man who loves you and values and respects you, he also respects what you have to say, but he doesn't have to necessarily listen to what you have to say as far as him making a decision. But
And I agree with you. I think that
but
works
he
both ways.
values you, he can hear you out. But let's face it, men are not thinking about the emotions that go through our heads 10 times a day. They're going to listen to you, and that's great. But at the end of the day, he's going to do what he believes is best. Thank you for input, but this is still, and it doesn't mean he doesn't love you. It doesn't mean that he doesn't care. It's just that he's so built in his masculine that he's going to make the decision that's going to best suit everybody. So I just want to share that I'm not some kind of like, oh, have dinner. And there are times where I don't feel well and I don't have dinner. And I communicate, hey, you know, today was not a good day for whatever reason this happened. Great. We go get takeout. But is it often? No. And I do get catered to. And a couple of days ago, I woke up with, he ordered breakfast. And I woke up to breakfast at the table. I didn't have to cook because he understands that I'm working, I'm doing the chores, I'm doing the housework, and this is his way of, hey, I see you. I appreciate
Sounds like a really like healthy dynamic.
That's
But
a
I'm
good
thinking about
partnership.
I agree with that.
I wasn't thinking like that when you were talking and like other people were talking about being a housewife.
Right.
Like,
So you have to have that suitable partner. And as women, we have to take accountability of like, who are we choosing? Are we choosing him because he lets me do whatever I want? Because at the end, we want some type of guidance. But we just need to learn how to be able to do that for ourselves and let our guard down. Are all men bad, or have we just chosen the wrong ones? Because maybe you met Mr. Right 3 dates ago, but he wasn't 6'4". He was 5'11", and he was driving a Honda, but he makes the amount of money you need him to make, but he just drives a Honda. He's not driving a Lamborghini, but he has a house. So
I'd take the 5'10" in a Honda, 5'11" in a Honda.
Bella, aren't you like 5 foot tall?
5'1", actually.
Yeah, so you need a dude that's a full foot taller than you.
Yeah, I do.
I'm very lucky. Mine's 6'4", but I'm not saying that. I'm 5 feet and he's great. I'm lucky, but you know, it's just
Hannah, just go ahead. You don't have to raise your hand. I'm just interrupting.
The teacher, she's still have it. I was gonna say.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Teachers are used to raising.
Yeah, right on.
What were the other topics that we were going to discuss? Because I feel like we've been on the same topic for a while.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll leave after.
You've had a lot.
I was gonna say that my you guys were saying how like I don't like once I make a lot of money, whatever, like maybe I'll see less value in my boyfriend, and I don't know. I haven't been there yet, so I can't for sure say that's not
sure.
However, I do think that he adds value to a lot more of my life than financial and like that kind of the logistics of things. Like he adds so much like fun to my day and stuff like that. So I think there's
rightfully
more
so.
than just talking about like, oh, he's no value because he makes less than me. Like I don't know. Again, I can't.
Of course, but like you can't build a house on love. You know, you need bricks and sticks. Like you need to pay for it. You gotta hire a contractor to build it. Well, what I get is I'm saying, but like I understand, and I understand there's more to men than money, and there's and what they can provide, and there's more to women than just how they look. But when we're talking about what the primary drivers are to men and women wanting to mate with each other and date and settle down, have kids, marriage, LTR, that whole thing, these are the important topics that always come up. Because if you're trying to get a man and you can't be attractive to him, you're not on the playing field for the most part. I mean, you're not going to be considered for anything longer term if you're not attractive enough. Like that's just science right there. And for women and men, like if women don't see ugly dudes, like now they'll look past ugliness if he makes enough money or he's funny enough. Like women will make exceptions. Women will make exceptions for guys that are less attractive traditionally, sure. But generally, the less conventionally attractive a guy is, the more he has to make up with it in other areas like humor and wit and being able to provide and all these sort of
Same
things.
with women, right?
Not always, because men, well, kind
if
of,
they're not attractive,
not really.
Wouldn't a woman have to try a little harder to get a man?
she should try harder
You're
to
muted,
be
Erin.
more attractive.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm like, why isn't anyone listening?
Yeah,
Duh, because my
nobody's-
freaking mic is
Real.
muted. Hello. I just, yeah, if that's just going to attract like a certain type of woman, you know, and I don't know, maybe they're looking for that, but if they're looking for like an actual relationship, there's going to be a lot more involved. So I don't know.
Yes,
You kind of
they
want to
have
like
be
weed out.
attractive.
Sorry,
You've got to
what?
be good. You've got to be good looking. You got to be able to get
No,
on the playing field.
I agree. I don't think that hurts anyone.
Sure.
But I also think you'll want someone who's not just like superficial and who just only cares about your appearance. Like that's not going to make you feel good, you know?
Yeah, but I never said that. I said it's,
No,
the,
no,
it's
I
the
know,
number
I know.
one driver, and there are other things that come along with it. But yes, like at a certain point, it doesn't matter how funny you think you might be as a woman or how good at cooking and cleaning you are. If you are below the threshold of attractiveness, it doesn't matter. Like it's never, you're not even going to get on the playing field. So you've got to find that balance, that equilibrium where it makes sense. Bella, what?
I agree. Yeah, it's all about balance.
If we're choosing, like, you're choosing women for their beauty, right? But when they
Not
get
necessarily.
old, they lose
What do you mean
their
by
beauty.
choosing? What do you mean by
Okay.
choosing?
What do you mean? You pick your wife based on what you deem as attractive, right?
No, it's not what I said. I don't like. Have you not been listening for the last hour you've been here?
Bro.
I'm saying the primary driver of what gets me to talk to a woman and court her and want to date her is her physicality. What gets me to commit to a girl long term is all
Wife.
the other stuff.
Okay, duties. So, but she has to be attractive, though. She's not even in the running if she's not
course.
attractive.
Yes.
So, women will lose their value, lose their attractiveness as the marriage will go on.
Sure.
So then what? So then you're going to leave us?
But
Then
there's
what?
never an
See,
ugly
again,
woman.
you keep
don't have to keep
that-
yourself.
It's
going
only for
back to this.
attractiveness.
But Bella, see
Yeah,
what you're
because you
doing.
don't
Do you
have
see
to
it?
keep
Hold on,
yourself.
Eliana. I have to stop this because Bella, you're being dishonest, and this is
I'm
the
not.
problem. Yes, you are, because you just said if it's only about being attractive, literally 10 seconds after I said it's more than that. What are we doing here? Like, if you want to come on and
But
be honest, that's one
you
thing.
said
But you're
it has
being
to be both
legitimately
of them.
dishonest.
It's both.
I'm saying
not
it's
one or
part
the
of
other.
it. But
It's
What we
both.
also said is
women
this
can
is what
keep
gets you
themselves
in the
attractive.
door.
There's things that you can do to keep yourself attractive,
So
even
you're
long
saying
term.
an ugly, really good, wifely dutied, ugly woman would
I'd never
be
let my
kept-
wife get ugly. I'd never let my wife get ugly in a million years. My wife would never be
Well,
ugly to me
she's not
because she
gonna
would know
be
she needs to stay in shape.
as beautiful. She'll stay in shape.
Correct.
She could be ripped. She could be still beautiful.
Ugh.
She's gonna start to form wrinkles on her face.
Sure.
Then what?
Yep.
She's not gonna.
Are
like,
wrinkles
look
the
as-
kiss of death?
No, I'm not gonna.
So what are we talking
shit on
about here?
beautiful older women, because I don't think that women lose their value just because they're old. I think men lose their value because then what? You guys are fat, bald, gross.
For a lot of guys,
miserable.
that happens. For a lot of guys, that
Exactly.
happens. Yes, but if
Most.
men
Ugh.
do, sure, I
Look
agree with that.
grosser, older.
The
Much
men that
grosser.
do the right things and take care of themselves and continue to grow and continue to stay good looking, they're going to be spoiled for choice. But those are the
You can't
guys
always
in their
help it,
40s and
though.
50s. There's
You'll
going to be
lose
the
your
guys in
hair
their
without-
40s and 50s. Doesn't matter. There's bald guys that make money, all kinds of good money, and they're good
Yeah,
looking.
like
There's plenty of guys.
Rich.
It doesn't matter about losing hair. He does
Rich
very
the
well
rich
for
guy.
himself. Yeah, he does great. So,
He's
and he
still
does great
bald.
with women. I don't know what the
Shout
problem
out
is.
to
I mean, there's
Rich. If you're watching this.
he's
probably
not.
not.
Trust me. He knew
Yeah, I
you were
know.
coming on, and he decided not to
Scared.
watch. Keep
Oh,
bringing Bella
perfect.
on because she's the perfect example of a bad example. Defiant, mouthy, and uncooperative. Men should go out of their way to avoid women like her.
Yeah, keep bringing.
I don't
Bella
think it's
on.
going to
Great
happen,
idea.
Terry. Yeah, I mean,
my
you can
third
keep coming
time.
on as long as you're going to be honest. If you're not going to come up here and lie, then yeah. we'll
I'm
keep
always
having you on.
honest. I speak from the heart.
Mr. Moff, I
Doesn't
have a
mean
question.
honest. Erin says she's got to
Let's
go.
kick it on.
Erin, if you got to jump, it's okay. Thank you
Yeah,
so
I'm
much for having. I know.
sorry.
No, it's
I'm
totally cool. I know we
sorry.
said we are going to go for a
Nice
couple
meeting
hours,
you.
but we appreciate you coming. Thank you so much for being
Okay,
a returning
yes.
guest. I wish you nothing but the best. Okay.
Oh,
come back anytime.
likewise. Thanks for having me. Thanks.
right.
Good night.
Bye,
Nice
Erin.
meeting you, everyone.
Erin.
Yeah.
Thanks, Erin.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Hannah, do you have a question for me?
Yeah, I was wondering if we were gonna change topics because I feel like we've been on the same one.
She's begging at this point.
I can't get a word in edgewise with
please.
Bella on the panel.
So sorry.
I'm trying to think if there's anything here. Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting one. I mean,
Yeah.
I know
It's up
that
to
this
you.
one actually this comes up. This is probably the first and the only opportunity we'll ever have to have a woman on the panel that agrees with this. So, Ileana, I mean, can you can you talk about really quickly, just summarize the kind of relationship that you're in with your fiance, and just kind of, I would like to get the other ladies' reaction onto the panel, if they would agree with this type of lifestyle or if they would not.
Okay, so I am in what we call a polygyny dynamic, meaning my fiance, soon to be husband, is capable of having more than one wife.
Girl.
He protects, provide, and leads for the both of us equally. And it is something that I enjoy. Having a sister wife could be very beneficial, because if we think about the old ages, when men went to war, women stayed alone. So if I have a sister wife, the house is taken care of. And if we all decide to work, there's 3 incomes, although he doesn't require either of us to work, because he makes enough to, to have 2 wives. And I really enjoy it. I enjoy the building the legacy, the having not to take my kids to a childcare because I have to go run an errand, not having to have the government raise my children, because my kids are actually homeschooled and they're currently being taught sign language. Their primary language is Spanish, then it's English, and then sign language, and then we'll be working on Korean, and it's all being done within the home. And that's whether we have an outside source coming in and teaching, like if we wanted to hire Miss Hannah to come and teach our children, we can do that. But when it comes to polygyny, it really benefits women, because I have my best friend, and
I think it goes too, yeah.
It goes
now,
beyond.
Eliana, I'm really curious. Did this start out because of religious affiliation? Is this, because that's generally when I hear, because first of all, I'm actually surprised that you're as comfortable with this. One, because what we generally know when it comes to women and jealousy, they're far more likely to get jealous and be protective over things like time and resources, or more intimate activities like money and protection and things like that. They generally don't care as much as they say they do, but they give a lot less stock into purely sexual relations outside of the marriage. So is that something that you explored first at all? Would that make you would that make it better for you? Would it be worse for you? I mean, I'm really curious, because, it's very common that women think about, oh, you slept with some other girl. Like, oh, do you love her? Does she have a house? Does she have another family with you? Versus, oh, well, all she did was sleep with you and you never talked to her again. That's a little bit less of a big deal.
Right. So when it comes to that, to sex, I actually don't have a problem with my partner having sexual partners. However, in the dynamic that we're in, a masculine man is not just going to sleep with the woman just because he can. He's going to make sure that whoever he's sticking his manhood in is going to be someone that he wants to be with, because masculine men don't make mistakes like that. They don't just go stick it in because they can, right? So we have boundaries where, is this going to be a sister wife? And I don't have a problem with sharing resources, because why would I not want a righteous woman who loves and respects him the same way that I do to benefit from having the life that I have? Especially if, like, let's say she's a single mom. Not only does that woman now have a husband, but that child has a father figure. And if we look at single moms being, and children being raised in those single parent homes, again, it benefits them, because, and somebody might get triggered by this, but single moms are not the first choice for certain men. If you look at millionaires, if you look at men with money, they're not going to choose a woman who has 2 kids. They're going to go for the woman who's younger, who doesn't have any kids. However, I am not saying that single mothers cannot be chosen. You can. You just have to be the exception to that man's rule. What do you bring to him that he can't already do for himself? Because most men are self-sufficient nowadays, where what do they need a woman for? What do I need? If you don't bring me peace, if you don't add on to what I give you, I can do it. I can pay someone to do my laundry. I can pay someone to come and satisfy me, and I can pay someone to cook. Men can pay for all these things. So what do they need a woman for if they can do it themselves? Because there's a lot of sex workers out there. We have OnlyFans. We have girls on Snapchat. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Men have access to those promiscuous women rather than wives. So I would love to share my fiance because it's such a blessing to be able to be under a man who provides, protects, and leads. And he's so self-aware, and it takes a very specific type of man because not every man can handle two women. Not every.
True.
That's why men who are broken, and I'm not a man, so correct me if I'm wrong. Men who are broken cheat. Men who are insecure cheat. Men who do not know how to communicate cheat. Men who know themselves, they have value in themselves, stick their chest out and they speak. This is what I would like. This is how it's going to be. And now we have a choice. And that's how it was. And I've been pro poly for about 4 years now prior to meeting him. So it was an easy transition in the dynamic. But prior to that, I would have told you, oh, no, that's crazy. But when I started to learn, it was like, oh, I get a best friend. I get someone who's going to watch my kids. What if I couldn't have kids? My wife can have kids if that's really what I wanted, right? So it's a bigger dynamic than, I always say this, poly doesn't mean orgy. Poly doesn't mean that a man is satisfying his fantasy. Only a masculine man is capable of this dynamic because he understands that it takes more than just his manhood to satisfy these women. They're both being taken care of and loved equally. So why not? I don't have to worry about anything, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. My only pushback there is that, I mean, men have run harems of women since the dawn of time. I mean, men have had concubines, men have had variety. I mean, it's really, monogamy is it's a relatively new sort of dynamic that men and women have generally over time not really participated in. So, I mean, look, I don't personally have an issue with if a guy wants to casually date or casually sleep with women. Like, I don't have an issue with that. I don't necessarily think that it's any more. I think dating and relationships, I think it's a selfish game. Like, I don't think that, just like women don't owe men anything, I don't think men generally owe women anything. I don't think just because two people want to have sex that it's an honorable thing or a dishonorable thing to, make them have a relationship or anything like that. Right. But like, I understand the dynamic and how it works. I mean, no wonder he's got to work 90 hours a week to support. And credit to him and good on him. But yeah, I thought it was a little bit different. I thought it was something along the lines of, when you said open on his end, closed on yours, that he has the freedom to go out and explore. Because a lot of guys think about, like, look, I know I've known married guys that have done this. I know guys in long-term relationships that have done this, and they would never in a million years leave their wife for some chick they met out on the road or at the bar or at a party or something like that. But they got no problem taking him back to a hotel and then never talking to him again. And if you think I've known them. Yeah, I've known, and honestly, like it's common in a lot of cultures where
there's actually a big study done on this, especially in Europe, proves this fact.
Especially in European cultures, for example, it's not uncommon for men to have women on the side and their wives just don't ask questions. They don't ask, they don't tell. They don't know where their husband is from the hours of like 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. 3 or 4 nights a week, and they're off doing stuff. And to them, like to the dude, it's getting exercise. It's stepping out. Like, I'm going to get laid, but I would never give them a house. I'm never going to give them kids. I'm never going to bring home any drama. It's just going out and having a good time. So, I understand the dynamic as it works, but I don't necessarily agree that having casual relations with a woman is a dishonorable thing.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
And
there's a study done that looked at people who cheated in their relationship or like slept outside of their relationship. And when they looked at the differences between men and women, they saw that when women slept outside of their relationship, over 70% of them reported a lower satisfaction level in their relationship. But when they looked at men, the number was 0. Yeah. None of the men would report a lower satisfaction in the relationship.
Exactly. So they had no reason, and then they cheated anyways.
No,
that's what I'm hearing.
They weren't dissatisfied in their relationship.
They
weren't
still
mad at
satisfied.
They
There's
will
no
not
reason
to move on to anybody else, but they did anyways.
Oh, it's because men like variety. Men
Women
have a
at least have a
biological
pretty-
drive.
Wait, so are men allowed
Men
to
have a
cheat?
biological drive, and they're pre-hardwired.
So
They're
do
hardwired
I.
to crave variety. No, that's not generally how you want to have
Men
sex with
can
men. You want to
cheat?
find one guy and sleep with him forever. It's
That's
like
not true.
This was like a Patrice O'Neill quote that I love. Like, women want to find one guy and sleep with him forever. Men want to sleep with every woman once. That's pretty much. It's a very
Yeah, that's not every guy's
baseline
mentality,
and
and that's
crude
not
way.
every women's mentality.
Yeah, not
Although
every
women,
guy.
yeah,
Oh, not every
wanna do that as
woman. Yeah,
well.
not all women do that. Not all women do this. Yeah, because we're not
Right.
talking about generalities.
We're not
We never
talking
said
about women,
all
though.
people. Of course, what do you mean?
We're saying
Not all
that
men want to sleep
men-
either. I've met men who wouldn't
Exactly.
want that dynamic, but the reason why they
All men, if they
wouldn't want
could, if
that
men
dynamic-
could step out, if men could have multiple sexual relationships, or if they had an opportunity to sleep with as many women as they wanted without with impunity, they would do it.
yes, and the
Yeah,
only
men
reason
would.
shitty men
right,
would.
and the men that I've spoken
Why does that make
to,
them shitty?
Because you're cheating on your partner. Like, I don't. Like, what do you mean?
Facts.
Why?
Not
I said
loyal.
without. I said with impunity. I said if there weren't any repercussions, there was no punishment.
Then
men would do it.
everybody would sleep with everybody.
That's not true. It's really not true.
No.
And then
Because
that would
women
make
don't
women
women
whores,
don't
right?
sleep
'Cause
with
then
men
women
like
have
that.
a higher body count.
They would though.
The thing,
No,
there
it's
there
not
is
how
a
women have
repercussion when
sex.
women sleep outside of their relationship because afterwards they end up reporting lower satisfaction. They're less satisfied with the relationship after they sleep outside of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, yeah, that makes sense.
But it's not the same for men. When after men sleep outside of their relationship, they
They realized
still
what they
report
had
the
left at
same
home was
levels of
still better,
satisfaction.
and they left it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
That's
Hannah's
sad.
smiling. I don't know what
So
she
men go out and they can get laid with a random woman, not care about her, and go home to their wife, and they care about her and love her, the one that they've got kids with, or a house and cars or whatever. That's
She's
what
not gonna
that's
love
the
you
point that we're
anymore.
making. But
Wait,
that's the
wait,
point
wait, wait.
that we're making. Men don't care about it the same way women do.
I have some questions though about that poly relationship. How will we circle back to there? Did
Hold
he
on, I
bring
think
it up
Hannah had
first?
something first. I wanted to
Oh,
ask
okay.
because Hannah, we were on this point. Hannah, you had something?
All right, go.
Hannah S.
You said something
I wanna
about
know what
body
you have to
count.
say.
Oh, I'm sorry, Hannah squared.
What body count?
I know.
You had something. You were talking something about body count.
Well, no,
or-
no, no. So when we did the backstage, I mentioned that one of my unpopular opinions about dating is that I wouldn't date somebody with a high body count. So that just kind of like piqued my interest with the
Oh,
whole like.
I mean, okay.
well,
We can
men,
come
men
back
are
to
not
that,
equal to women.
No,
Men
we can
sleep
come back
with
to
that.
their
That's
totally
value
fine.
as women, and their value doesn't go down. But our value as women, if we got ran through, goes down because that's gross.
But men
men
are
are
allowed
more
to
experienced
sleep
and they're better
around.
with
Your
women
man
because men are
sleeps
better with
around.
women if they sleep with more women. The most
Not
attractive,
always.
the suave
Not
guys that
always.
you know, the guys that know game, the guys that know how to attract you have slept with more women than 10.
No, because
Not
what
mine.
if one
Not mine.
guy was in a long-term relationship? He would know and learn about one woman, which would
No,
give him
it's not how it
more
works.
knowledge
No,
than
it's not how it
just
works.
random hookups.
Is that's not how that's not how
It
statistics
depends.
works.
Both of them
No, it's not
could
how
gain
statistics works.
different.
Well, if I asked you to do a study, are you going to use a sample size of one? Or are you going to use a sample size of many?
That's
You're
not
a
for
scientist.
knowledge.
You should
No,
understand that.
no.
Would you rather a one like 10,000 page book or 5 different short 20-page books? Which is going to give you more knowledge? The long, big, juicy book.
That's not how
They give you a
statistics
lot
work,
of
and you know it.
knowledge.
We're back to being dishonest
Except
again.
for like
You're
one
not
night with a
being
girl,
honest.
you're not learning anything.
Who
You're
said
learning a
anything
little.
about that? You're making things up now. We're not saying anything about one night. And plus, even if that's
You're saying multiples.
even if that's the case, I would much more trust a man that had 100 one-night stands than one guy who's only slept with one woman his entire life. That guy knows
Why?
way more about
For
women
what?
than that guy
Yep.
because the difficulty. See, this is what women don't understand. It's so easy for women to get sex. All you got to do is go outside and hold up a sign that says "Line up here if you want to bang me." And you'll have a line around the block. It
Yes.
takes work and effort. It takes skill. It takes charisma. It takes wit. It takes being funny to get a woman to sleep with a man. As a man, it's
But if
way
100
more
women
difficult.
are
Hold on.
lining up-
Hold on. It's way more difficult as a man to get a woman to sleep with you than to get a man to sleep with you as a woman. It's like 100 times more difficult. And so if somebody's been able to pull off that difficulty 100 times versus once, that
Some
guy
guys
knows
are born
way
hot.
more.
Then
That's
what
like-
men are
Because are you
sleeping
gonna
Or
that
sleep
doesn't
with a man
matter.
just because he's nice? No, you're not just going to sleep with a man just because he's nice. You're going to sleep with him because he shows you, he takes you out to dinner, he invests his time in you.
Shows effort.
There has to be some type of investment in order for you as a woman to say, I can sleep with you. He has to mentally stimulate you in order for you to sleep with him. But if I as a woman, if I was single and I called somebody, he's gonna say yes because I'm a woman.
Yeah. Meanwhile, men
I
will
don't have
sleep
to
with
do much
women just
effort.
because they're attractive. And proof
Right.
of this is the most recent Bonnie Blue, who
Or even if they're
slept
not
with
attractive.
1,000 dudes on one day.
Guys will
1,000
bang girls
dudes.
they're
They
not
literally
attractive.
lined up.
So Ileana,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you're in a poly relationship, how do you know that your husband isn't sleeping with girls just because they're attractive, not because he has an emotional connection with them?
Because prior to anything being done in the relationship, although he does not have to tell me what he does outside of the house, he values and respects me. And he's a man who works 90 hours plus a
But
week.
still,
He's
like,
not
how is
just
he
gonna
not
go
lying?
stick it
He
into
doesn't have
anything
the
that
free
walks.
time. He'll plan around it.
How do
But
you
even
not
if he
know
is,
he's
but
lying?
even if he is, this is the
But
point.
even
Even
if
if
he
he
is,
is,
I
the
trust
point is
him
she's
enough.
completely taken care of. Everything
But
is
if
taken care of.
guys
She doesn't
like
have to
younger
raise a
women-
finger.
Right.
If guys like younger women and you're in your mid-30s, how do you not know that he's not lying? And that's not a hit on you. I'm just genuinely asking.
Just men.
See, this is the
not your
thing.
man.
Women have to understand. Ileana, I'll let you answer for your husband here in a second. But in general, like I said before, most men are not going to leave their wife, somebody they have kids with, because exactly the numbers in the study that Spencer referenced, men are perfectly capable of going out and having an affair or going and sleeping with other women and not being any less satisfied in their relationship and not think about moving that woman into the house or going and starting a new family with them. It's not how men work. Men will value the mother of their children, the woman that makes their house a home, that cooks and cleans, that takes care of the laundry, that adds value to their life. They value that way more than they value some floozy. See, the way men show commitment and the way men show taking care and caring about a woman is not through dick. It's through protecting and providing and money and resources and protection. That's how
Can
men
you tell me
show their
statistics?
loyalty. Can I tell you what?
Statistics
On
on
what?
that? Because you're telling me men as a general whole. You're not telling me a
It's
percentage
evolutionary
of men.
psychology.
That's
It's
not telling
evolutionary
me anything.
psychology.
That's
It's a
not
study
telling
of
me
human
anything.
behavior.
And also,
I just gave you this study that Spencer referenced. I mean, we just told
Tell
you
me
that
again.
men are.
What part of it are you confused
What do you
about?
need clarification on?
Statistically, how many men are going to stay in a relationship with a woman
Lindsay,
even though
Yeah.
Hannah,
they
you
could leave
understand
them
how that's a
for a
nonsensical
younger
question,
woman?
right? You understand how
many
that's a
men?
nonsensical question, right?
But still, the
answered
study
the
done,
question.
it looked at people who slept outside of their relationship. And for women, 70%, or it was over 70% of women who slept outside of their relationship reported a lower satisfaction level in their relationship. So they were more likely to leave the relationship. For men, 0 of the men reported a lower level
Yes.
of satisfaction.
Where's that from?
They were still as happy in the
Study.
relationship.
Yeah.
Source.
So a woman is already feeling
Answer the
you can
source.
look.
wrong
We
Can't
can.
answer
in their
the
We can.
relationship.
source. Can't tell me
We
the
don't. Sorry,
source.
we don't have
The
it right off the
reason-
top of our head. You can Google search it right now.
Yeah,
if you want.
I don't have a
No.
link here,
I
but we
said
can
it.
definitely
I don't
find it.
have
Tell
We
me.
don't need the numbers. The reason that a woman
Yeah, I should be able to just pull a study out of my ass and
'cause
just give it to you on
you're
demand.
You're asking the questions, so you should be able to tell me the source.
I don't care about the statistics. I just know what I know.
Yeah, I don't think statistics really matter. Like, you don't need statistics on every single word that comes out.
Well,
of your-
they're using it against me, so
We're not using anything against you. We're just
No.
telling you the reality.
So based off of
Yeah.
Spencer's statistic, women are leaving or cheating. They're cheating because there's already a problem. It's
No,
not like
that's
they cheat
not
out
what
of
the
nowhere.
numbers say. Hold on, that's
Men
not what the
are
numbers
cheating
say.
out of nowhere.
That's not what the
and
numbers
that's why
say,
they
Bella.
go back to their relationship
That's
like
not-
nothing
what are the
happened.
numbers?
That's not
Something
what the
did
study
happen.
says. You're
Something did
confusing
happen.
you're confusing the study.
Women are cheating
talking
for
about-
reasons.
Yeah, of course. It's always the men's fault in everything.
Oh,
It's always the
I'll
men's
be
fault.
honestly,
It's
I
what
might
they're
always the
even
doing.
women's fault.
accept.
Glad you're admitting
I
it.
might even
In what?
accept that the reason that the women went and slept outside of the relationship was because they already knew it was going to end.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Sure.
but that still
Yeah.
means the relationship is going to end.
Exactly.
In the men's scenario, 0 of them reported lower satisfaction levels, which means
So
they
what incentive
slept
do
with
they have
someone
to
else
leave?
and they still came back home to their girlfriend or their wife at the end of the day.
Exactly.
go.
So that means there was nothing wrong
That
with
makes
the
our
wife.
point.
Nothing wrong with
Yeah.
the wife. And they
Okay.
moved on anyways.
No, they didn't
They're
move
not
on.
moving on.
That's the thing. They
Just
didn't move on because they didn't end the
Why would
relationship.
you
They
leave your
slept
perfect
somewhere
move
else
on to
and they
another
came
topic?
back.
Why
They
would you leave
came
your
back.
perfect wife
Variety.
if there was no problems?
Because men
Because
like
coming
sexual
Yeah,
back,
maybe
variety.
there's no problems. Yay, my wife. But why would you leave in the first place?
See, women cheat when there's problems. Men cheat because they like to get laid.
Exactly. Exactly.
How
Yes.
does that makes
The
our
Okay.
same way
point? That
that
doesn't do
gross.
women
anything
leave
for you.
when men
That's
don't have
gross.
enough money. You move on to the guy who has more money. You'll leave your man for a man who has more money. So why not stay?
But it's always men's
Stay
fault.
with him through the
apparently.
struggle.
See,
Stay with him
women
through the
women
struggle.
can't. It's always men's fault. Like if a
Sometimes
woman
you'll stay
cheats,
through the
it's always the
struggle.
man's fault. If a man cheats, it's his fault. If a woman cheats, it's also his fault. Is that what we're saying here?
No.
Future Hannah, what do you want to say?
Can we
She wants to
change
change the
topics,
subject.
please? Because I feel like we talked about a couple different
This again.
topics in the beginning.
I want to answer your question though about if he would. How would I know he's not lying?
We
Well,
talked about
first of
different
all,
topics.
there's a lot of women out there that are just for
Oh
recreational
my
use.
god.
So I know that if he's gonna go sleep with somebody else outside of me, she's recreational use, and she put herself-
Ileana, your
Damn.
husband sleeps with different women.
Not as of
I-
right now. He's
she
not
knows.
sleeping.
At the
Like,
end of the
can we
day, the
talk about
money
something
still comes
else?
to her.
Like your husband sleeps
Yeah.
with different women.
He's not.
Hannah, what
cheating.
is your deal? What's your issue?
The
my
the
God.
roof is still over top of her head. The money is still to her. Like
At,
that's
I go
what she
get a
cares
nail
about.
tomorrow. I go get a
What
Louis if I want. I can go to.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm married to somebody
she's the winning girl in here.
sleeping with
Yeah.
other women. That's a deal
Honestly.
breaker. That's gross. My husband's dick has been inside someone else's vagina. That's weird.
Your
How about your
boyfriend.
current
that's
boyfriend?
happened
Is your
before
current boyfriend a virgin?
Somebody else's vagina before you.
Is your current
Yeah,
boyfriend a
before
virgin?
I was in a relationship, before I committed
you
myself
carry-
to
you
that
Yeah, but
carry
your
person.
both
your
bodies
boyfriend
with-
has fucked another girl besides you. It's not gross.
Before
Yeah.
my
It
relationship
is
started,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. before my relationship
So
started,
so that's not
And
weird either.
probably with more women than
before
he's
my
even told you.
relationship started,
And you slept with another guy before him too.
before my relationship
Yeah, but that's not
started.
the point you're making. You're talking about his
Yeah,
dick in
yeah,
somebody
because
else's. His dick has
If
been in
you're
somebody
in a
else.
relationship with someone and you're openly admitting that that person is fucking other people while you're in a relationship, that's weird.
But it's agreed on. I don't think we
Right.
should judge other people's relationships so harshly
Bella.
if it's something that's making her happy.
Thank you.
It's
No,
Bella.
if you're happy with that, fine.
It
Like, go
seems
ahead.
like
Like,
the
that's your
wealth
life.
is,
Like,
like,
I'm not gonna judge you.
Plentiful enough to
Going
spread
back to the whole like
everybody.
being friends with guys
So-
thing while you're in a relationship, like if that's your thing, like that's fine.
Thank you, Bella.
But to use that as an argument, like that's weird.
Use what as an argument? What are you
What do you
talking
mean?
about?
Oh my god, what have we been talking about this whole time?
Well,
I don't
we're
know
not,
what
we're not
you're
saying
talking
about
about.
again. We're not saying about what it ought to be. We're saying about what is. That's what evolutionary psychology is based on what is, not on what ought to be. There's a clear distinction there that has to be known. Throughout most of human history, most societies were actually polygynous. They practiced polygyny. They did not practice monogamy. Monogamy is actually a minority.
So
throughout
in the
most
21st
civilizations.
century, we
Extreme
have to
minority.
practice that.
I would love 2 husbands.
And there are women
One
that
can
have
do the
to
housework
No,
and then
no,
one can do the work.
actually, it's
Actually, you
But it's
would.
not
specifically
that whole
polygyny,
thing.
meaning multiple wives, not meaning multiple husbands. That was almost never practiced throughout.
Okay,
human
we've been on the
history.
subject for like
Consider
over an
a lot of
hour. Can
animals
we, like,
do practice
please
that,
change
though.
this?
Hannah, this is our fucking show. How about that? Like, quit bitching
Hey.
about changing topics or leave. Like, what the
Well,
fuck?
I was asked a certain topic, and then that topic never got brought up.
Cry me a fucking river.
They'll
It's our
come up
show.
towards the end.
Meow.
Bella, I got a question to ask you.
Oh, okay.
Do you agree or do you think that if a woman cheats on the man in the relationship, it's the man's fault, that he must have done something to cause her to step out and cheat?
No, but I think that, like the statistics that Spencer was bringing up, she was unhappy for some reason. It doesn't have to be his fault, but the situation.
So she's
wasn't made
unhappy.
for her.
So why would a woman be unhappy in a relationship if it wasn't
Maybe
something that
she
he
settled
did?
for something, and then in a year or two, that she's not in the same place. She's doing different things. He's doing different things. They're not working. They're not happy together as a team. She thinks she could be happier and thriving more with somebody else.
So she's
That's not-
unhappy with him.
So that's not
it's
his
a result
fault.
of him.
It's not his fault.
But
It's
she's
not always
unhappy
his
with him.
fault.
It's not something that she did.
Yeah, but it's not always
It's
his
not
fault.
just stepping
He
out.
can try everything and it could still not be okay just because it's not working for some reason. And that's okay. Not everybody can just stay together forever. It's like some things are just meant to last for a period of time.
I think she just doesn't
Yeah.
like him anymore, or doesn't
Yes.
like him anymore.
Right.
She's
And I
moving on.
wanted to
Yeah.
say-
I actually agree with that. I actually agree with you on this. Like
Me?
the woman steps. Yes, I agree with you,
Okay.
Bella. The woman likely stepped out because she was unhappy in the relationship, didn't want to be with the man anymore, so she went on to find someone else. But the reason that most men step out of a relationship is just because, oh, that girl's hot and I have a chance to sleep with her. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they still go back to their wife.
It's whatever their chances are. Like whatever, like men are like, if they're given an opportunity to bang this beautiful lady, most of the time they're gonna want to take it and they're just gonna take it. I think some men can hold back, but that's what you guys are simple-minded creatures, as you keep saying. If you're given the opportunity, you're gonna take it. My man's
Ms. Bella,
flipping me
you
off
also
right now.
said something. You said and I'm trying to process it. English is my second language, but I'm trying to process what you said. You said it was he settled for him. So then she became unhappy. So then this woman settled for something she didn't want, then realized, oh, shenanigans. This isn't what I want. I want 6'4" bodybuilder. He may not have the same money, but he has length. So is it safe to say that some women are opportunistic, and if they're given the chance to go with somebody bigger and better, they would?
I think plenty of women are like that. I don't think I used the word settled in that portion.
I couldn't quite hear, so
You
I'm
did.
Yeah,
No, you did.
I don't think. Yeah, but some women do settle, and then they get bored. A lot of women settle. Oh my gosh!
Do you think
my
women
friend,
that are settling are
men that they
actually
don't
being
even like.
realistic? Do you think women are
Huh?
settling, being realistic about settling, or do you think a lot of women are misinformed? Do you honestly think every woman that says she's settling thinks she is actually settling, or is that
Well, I
up
was
here
about
in her
to
head?
say a lot of them won't admit they're settling. They just
Right.
No,
are in it.
I'm saying it's the opposite. I'm saying, do you think there are women out there that claim to be settling, but in the reality is they're not? They're just
I
misinformed.
don't think a lot of women
They
are
think
wanting
the
to
grass
admit
is
that.
greener on the other side, and it's not. Because I think plenty of women, I think most women actually are being settled for that are not actually settling.
Yeah,
I think a lot of women
people are
out
in
there that are
relationships they don't even
claiming.
want to be in. A lot
Well,
of people
because the
stay
opportunity is
because it's
there. If this
comfortable.
man, you're settling, some women settle because, oh, he's doing this for me right now, but I'm going to keep him here until Joe over there can give me everything or a little bit more, and then I'm going to hop over there. I get this a lot.
Is it her
of women-
fault? Is it her
I'm
fault,
sorry?
Bella? Really quick, if she steps out and cheats, is it the woman's fault or the man? I want to make sure we get drilled down on this.
If the woman cheats, whose fault is it?
Correct.
Yeah. So I think that we're missing some details there, but yeah, the woman would be at fault.
Okay, cool. Just want to get
I'm
that clear.
not pro cheating. I don't think women should cheat. I think people should leave the relationship. If you're thinking about sleeping with somebody else, that means you're in the wrong relationship. Or have a talk with your partner, and make it
Yeah.
poly. You know what I mean? Like in a conversation,
Yeah.
a conversation needs to be had, or else it's not working. If you're having these thoughts, it's not working. Leave.
Yeah.
Before you
And
cheat.
a lot of
Don't cheat.
women a lot of women call me like the pick me on the internet, or they tell me like, oh, you must not deem yourself better that you have to settle. But am I really settling? Because I mean, like I said, I'm so well taken care of, and not just financially. My mental health I'm taken care of in every shape, way, and form, because a masculine man is more than just the zeros in his bank account, right? I'm taken care of if I need to go to the chiro, if I don't feel well, if I feel like I need a spa day, like all these things are given to me. So at the end, I feel like I'm winning, and I'm not settling, because I'm not just settling to someone that like, oh yeah, go ahead and do your thing. Because that's not also how poly works. There's boundaries, there's communication, there's value. I have a friend his name is Yahweh Poetic on all social media platforms. He actually has 5 wives and 23 kids, I think now, 23, 24 kids. And they're lovely. Prior to me actually meeting my fiance, he was trying to make me wife number 5. But I'm like, I don't want to live in Miami. Thank you. So even though he had a lot of great value and a lot of money, it wasn't something that I was leaning towards because I didn't truly feel the connection, you know? So I'm not just going to go with somebody because they have money like most women, but I do want to be well taken care of. Just how men want intercourse, women want money. It's just how do the two be given in a righteous way and it makes sense for the both of us in that dynamic, you know? So
that was actually a great specific example of why polygyny was practiced throughout most of human history. Like you said, he has how many kids?
23, 24. And I think he just had 2 more babies.
Yeah,
Both,
23, 24.
Were pregnant at the same time.
23, 24.
Yeah.
If we looked at those relationships over history, imagine thousands of years of guys who are in those relationships having 20-some kids versus guys who practice monogamy or guys who practice the other version of polyamory, which it would be multiple husbands and one wife. Those guys are going to have 1 kid, maybe. If it's a case of multiple husbands, most of them are going to have no kids.
Right.
So these guys aren't going to reproduce. So throughout thousands of years of evolution, who's going to reproduce more? The guys who practice polygyny. And so that's why we saw that develop in most human societies.
Well,
and that's why we get things like a man's biology allows him to sleep outside of the relationship and not affect his feelings in the relationship because of thousands of years of evolution that have led to this.
It was necessary for survival. I mean, look, like we're never gonna find rebound rates when it comes to the population unless we return back to a polygyny style society. It's never gonna happen though because feminism won't allow it. There's so many women out there that are gonna end up old and alone because their only alternative is going to be sharing a high value guy, and like they just won't let themselves do it. Like women are just going to end up alone and they're not going to find somebody that's going to put up with their bullshit. And the only way they're going to find a guy that will is he's like, yeah, well, you got to join the harem and you got to join the squad. You got to be wife number 5 or girlfriend number 17. And it's just not going to happen.
Loneliness, though. Loneliness, that's like a huge topic. Sounds like the men are ending up lonely and the women are fine. We have communities of women as well.
Most men they are. Yeah, but like you're not going to have kids. Your bloodline's going to die off. You're not going to do the one thing that you want to do most in the world, which is have a child.
I could go out, have a kid in one night if I really wanted to, right? Women,
but you don't. But you don't. But you don't. That's the point. But you don't.
If man is out of the picture, I don't care about a man. I just want a kid. Easy.
But you don't.
I don't want stupid kids.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But so you're just not. So you're not going to screen. You're not going to just have a kid with any old dude.
Of course, that's not me. But if my goal is to have a baby tomorrow, you can.
Yeah, and
that's
actually,
a short-sighted goal. That's not a real goal.
Let's think about this on a larger scale, because like not just a 24-hour window. Let's think about it on a larger scale throughout like evolution. Women who are going to be more promiscuous and go and just chase after, can I get pregnant tonight? That woman is more likely to be dropped out of the relationship because of those actions.
But she's not looking for a relationship. She doesn't want one.
Okay, so she's going to lose access to resources, which means she has a smaller chance of survival. So over thousands of years, she's going to have a smaller chance of survival. It's going to be weeded out through evolution.
And why you would want to put your kids through being raised by a single mother, or why you would even entertain that when, again, like I said earlier in the show, across the board, they statistically do worse across the board with almost every major.
There are a lot of people who thrive off of single mothers.
But a lot of single
do you understand what you said doesn't negate what I just said? I said, on the balance of probabilities, it is far more likely for children that are products of single mothers to have teen pregnancy, to be runaways, to have incarceration rates, to be poor, to be
Because it's
obese,
hard.
Well,
like
I'll negate
across
that
the
real quick.
board.
I'll negate that real
But
quick.
again, it's it's not negated. It's actually, it's facts. You can't negate
No,
it by
it's-
saying,
it
well, that
is
didn't happen to
facts,
this
but
guy
I'm
I know.
living proof
Yeah.
that that's not true.
No, you're not. You are an
I
example of someone who maybe doesn't fall within that category, but your exception doesn't disprove the rule.
It's possible.
That's not what I'm saying. Just because something is possible doesn't mean you should do it. Do we not agree that you should live your
shouldn't do
life on the
it, but because it
probability of things that
happens.
happen? When did I say it doesn't happen? It's like you guys don't even listen. You just hear what you want. You're arguing just to argue. The fact of the matter is, children that come from single parent households, and because we know that women overwhelmingly are awarded custody, so we can just say single mother households, they do worse across the board. There's no metric that kids raised from a single mother do better than
what about
kids
a
that are
single
raised in
father?
two-parent
Okay,
households.
it's single
They
parent.
do.
How about
They
you
do.
say
No, it's
single
not, because
parent?
kids that are raised by single fathers actually do just as good as kids raised in two-parent, and we have statistics for that.
I would love to see the statistics for that, because I think
Go
that
ahead. You got
there
Google.
is something
Internet
to
works.
a family versus a single parent, like being raised in that. I think there's big differences. It is easier and very helpful when you have a family dynamic.
Obviously,
a
it's the
single
best
father-
possible
I
scenario.
think we
for a
all
child.
agree that none of
don't
us
think
are
it's
actually
possible
going
scenario.
for breaking families up. No, none of us
the
want to break
best
families
possible
up.
scenario. But I was
I
just
might.
clowning on your example of saying I'm going to
You
go
say-
out
you say you
tonight
might?
and have a kid.
Bella's out here trying to destroy relationships.
No, Bella's being a troll, like she always is.
No, if it's a wrong relationship, I have so many friends whose parents are still married, and their parents fight, their parents hate each other, their parents are not thriving together. I mean, how many people do you know with parents that genuinely have been together, have children, and are still thriving? Not as many, not very many.
Even if
That's
the case, Bella, kids in dual parent households still do better.
sure.
I don't know what to tell you.
I didn't
You
disagree
can't
with
argue with
that.
the fact.
But
No,
you're
but you're
saying
trying to come up
single
with these
mother versus
negations
parents.
because single motherhood
It's
is
single
not
parent
good.
versus
No,
multi-parents. How
you don't
about that?
understand. No, because we have to. If you
Why
go
would a
below the
man-
surface, if you
why would
go
a
below the
father do better
surface
than a
just a
mother?
small, if you go below the surface just a smidge, the vast majority of kids that are raised in single parent households, it's single mother households because of the way the custodial agreements work. Women are overwhelmingly awarded child and parental rights over kids, far more than men. So we
Okay,
have
but I
enough to
still know
understand
multiple
that
men who won
the vast majority, yeah. Do you see what you're doing? I'm talking about the majority, overwhelming majority. And you're like, I still know a couple guys. Like, this doesn't do anything for your argument. Bringing up the exception. If I said 99% chance that if you open up this parachute out of this plane, you're going to fucking die. You're like, yeah, but there's a 1% chance that it won't.
Wait, so are we?
So I'm
not
going to jump
allowed
out of
to-
this plane.
Are we not
Is that what
allowed
we're talking
to-
about?
Can we not talk about our personal experiences with that?
No one said you're not allowed to, but to sit here and say your personal experience negates the information and the statistics that we have across millions of sample size points, it almost does nothing. It doesn't disprove any of that.
You're like
By
picking the
saying
worst case
I am
scenario.
the exception. Go ahead, Hannah.
Yeah, like you're just picking the worst case scenario and like making an argument out of the.
But if that's
one case,
my life, right? Like,
what? Like, why don't you?
That can be,
about it.
but those 2 points can coexist. You can have that be your life, and you can understand the actual statistics. And what you
Okay.
have is a statistical anomaly, and you're extremely lucky to have that. And so it doesn't apply to
I'm
you.
lucky
Congratulations.
to have a single mom with no dad.
Your situation,
No, that's
your
not what he's
situation.
saying.
If
That's
you
not
are
what he's saying.
better,
Then what's
if
he
you are
saying?
if you are better off than somebody that has a two-parent household, is what you're kind of claiming. You're saying you're the exception. Then you're very, very lucky, because most kids that come from single mother households don't have that, and they do worse. So consider yourself extremely lucky. If you've turned out better than your average kid from a single mother household, you should be extremely grateful.
Right.
I think you have to work really hard if you come from a single mother.
Yeah, no shit.
You
Yeah.
have to work really hard because you just face so
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
extra challenges.
I agree.
Men, single fathers are they make
Few
more
and far
money.
between.
It's far
Yeah.
more likely for a single woman, single mother, to be in poverty. So she has to try harder. She has to struggle more. It's also way higher for the man single father to be older. So these are younger, poorer mothers who are struggling by themselves now.
Yes.
So
Okay.
that makes things harder.
Yes.
Sure.
And that's what leads to single mother households being really bad for
What's
children.
your point? What's your point, Bella?
About single fathers?
What Moff is saying is it's not that it's like woman's fault. It's just the statistics are
It is what it
that
is.
single mother households are worse on children.
Yeah.
So
it's not because it's a woman, like it's,
but there's drastically more single mother households than men. And if drastically more of those percentages are poor and struggling, so then if you look at all the verses of single versus men, or the single mothers versus single husbands, fathers, it's gonna be not an equal like comparison, because there's way more and they're way poorer, and then there's less and they're richer and older.
Yeah, we have enough data points, but we have enough data points to make those comparisons. And we're not making the comparisons between single mother households and single father households.
Right.
The general comparison is between single father households and dual parent households. And people that come from those generally do the same. I'll even grant you that the sample size is small and that on a larger sample size, the data might get skewed. That's perfectly fine. But we go with the data. Data is just data. Statistics are statistics. It's not fair. It's black and white. There's no morality. This is the way that life is. I'm sorry that it hurts feelings to think that if you're raised in a single mother household, you're going to do worse. It's the reality. It's just the way that it is.
Household.
Hold on.
Bella, it's not. You just admitted yourself.
Father.
You just admitted yourself that the majority of single parent households are single mother households. The vast majority.
It's harder to be a single parent in general, because there's only one of you.
But even
I mean, that is true as well. Like, that's also
now?
true.
Like,
no one's disagreeing
How
with
do you
that.
compare single mothers to multi-households? Of course.
right, but even a single father.
What do you mean?
It's
So
an
that's why it's
unfair
bad.
comparison.
That's why it's bad. It's not an unfair comparison. It's reality.
So force women into keeping their marriages, or what? What's the plan here?
No.
How about not sleeping with deadbeats that you're not going to stay and get married to? How about not sleeping with losers and deadbeats that are just going to bounce on you? How about making better decisions? How about making better decisions on who you choose to open your legs for? And get pregnant with.
A high-value man can still let you down in all those ways. Like, you can choose this
pick a higher value.
kind giving man, and he will still let you down.
Yeah.
Maybe because
What you say, Hannah?
I feel bad for
I said pick a higher value man then. Like, it seems like you have absolutely no trust in men. So, like, no one is going to want you. Like,
I can't imagine.
Really confident.
I really hope that this is a character that you're playing. Like, I really hope that this doom and gloom attitude that you have about a man is going to leave you and leave you penniless. No, it's really not, because we've already told you multiple times tonight why it's not reality. We have statistics to back it up, and you just keep parroting this nonsense. We already know that women leave men overwhelmingly 70 to 80% of the time. Men are not the ones filing divorces. We already know. It is true. What are you talking about? That's a fact, Bella.
Women are
70 to 80% of divorces are initiated by women.
Yes.
All right.
This is real.
That's probably because of the
Because it's the man's fault? Because it's the man's fault? Is that why?
The man
Because of the
that
man's
goes
fault?
and cheat. A man goes and cheats, and he comes back feeling fine. He's like, "What's wrong?
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong here." That's what men say.
So it's the woman's fault. So she's leaving a guy that had no intention of leaving her and didn't do anything outside of the relationship that he was dissatisfied with.
Sounded like he just wanted to stay there and not change and not make any.
Yeah, it's his fault, right? It's the guy's fault. Is it the guy's fault?
Plenty of the time it is. Like I said,
what happens if a dude hauls off and socks a woman in the face? Do we have to ask her what she did to him to get him to punch her?
Nope. Because nobody cares.
But we have to do it when it comes to cheating, though.
I'm curious.
When it comes to cheating.
I have a question.
Can we change the topic?
I know.
It better not be change the topic, because we'll just kill the show.
Show's over. Cute doggy.
I'll say this. You know what? I think this is a good time to wrap. I honestly
Wow.
I think that this is honestly and you're not going to listen to this, but if there's women that stumble onto this show, or there are women that may be influenced by you. Like, I really feel bad for them.
We
I
talked
think
about one
that
topic, though.
I think that this idea, Bella, that you have, this doom and gloom. I don't know who put this in your head, and I don't know if you're
I'm
playing a
thriving.
character.
So
And you're
women
very
who
much,
are
yeah. I'm
listening
still
to this,
talking.
men
Yeah,
who
I'm
are
definitely
listening to
talking.
this,
Yeah, you're
I
not
got
gonna
some
talk
advice.
anymore. Yeah, you're off. You're on mute. You're not going to talk anymore. So this idea, this character that you either this character that you play, where you come on just to argue and be combative. You know what? Like, maybe it was cute or fun at first, but for the most part, like, I honestly do feel bad for you. I think that this poison that has infected your brain, thinking that men are just going to leave you, that they're going to leave you penniless, that you should be independent and do all these things that have proven to be detrimental for women in their mental state, their mental health. I mean, there's studies coming out now that the most unhappy women or women that are climbing the corporate ladders are more lonely in their 40s with a bunch of money than they ever were in their 20s when they had a man that was with them and they were hanging out and taking care of them. And this idea that, like, you refuse to even acknowledge basic facts and statistics that we have about single parenthood and how, like, you're encouraging women or saying that women should go out and sleep with whoever so they can get pregnant by whoever. It's just sad. Like, I don't think we're ever going to have you back on. I hope you enjoyed like your 30 seconds of fame, but if you're not willing to engage honestly with the panel and actually have a conversation, then we just got no use for you here. We did it for 3 hours. We did a little longer than I would have liked to. But yeah, and like the way you're being like a smartass now, and doing this whole character, and that's fine. Like, that's totally cool. So you're more than welcome to do that. I promise I won't lose any sleep over you ever. As soon as we end this stream, I'll completely forget about you as a person. But I hope that nobody listens to you seriously when it comes to you giving them advice, specifically women. So that's really it, Spencer. I don't have anything else, man. I don't have any unsolicited advice. This is just, I'm exhausted from this conversation. I can't imagine spending any more time or effort on such low, bottom of the barrel behavior and low IQ thinking and willful dishonesty when it comes to a couple of guys that are actually trying to tell the truth about the way the world works. So we're going to wrap it up there, guys. We're going to be done here. I'll have Spencer follow up with you guys after the fact on those things, but we're going to go ahead and jump and be done. No ladies night next week, guys. Me and Rich are on vacation. We're on a retreat with the generals. I won't be doing office hours on Thursday because I'll be on a plane. So you'll be seeing us again early February, but this should be just enough show to tie you guys over until then. So hope everybody has a wonderful night. Thank you guys for all joining the panel. I enjoyed it for the most part. And yeah, we'll be back in a couple weeks doing it again. So we're going to wrap there. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.